474 yards and 41 points per game without allowing a touchdown this season. Missouri head coach Bob Stoll has brought a renewed enthusiasm to Columbia. But their success today depends on quarterback Kent Keefer's ability to hit his big tight end, Tim Bruton, and the ability of the offensive line to hold back the mighty Canes. Network presents the Big 8 Game of the Week today from Memorial Stadium and Faurot Field in Columbia, Missouri. It's the Miami Hurricanes versus the Missouri Tigers. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong. We're looking forward to today's game. If you like an aerial attack, you're going to love this contest. Working with me is a guy who liked to catch a lot of those passes, former wide receiver of the Cleveland Browns, Dave Logan. And Dave, we have two new coaches in this contest, young coaches who like to throw the ball a lot. And with Miami, Dennis Erickson takes over, and the Hurricanes have not missed a beat.
Well, they certainly haven't missed a beat as of yet. Dennis Erickson inherits a program with great talent. He also inherits a lot of expectations. This is a team that hasn't finished lower than second in the national polls the last 3 years. So everybody in Miami expects the Hurricanes to win. And so far, Dennis Erickson has been very, very pleased with his defense, but he has not been completely pleased with the offensive effort.
There is a lot of enthusiasm here in Columbia. They love Bob Stoll.
Bob Stoll is simply a winner. Did a great job the last 3 years at UTEP. Finished 10-2 last year. He, too, would like to throw the football, but unlike Miami, he needs a balanced attack. He needs a running game, and so far in the first two contests, Missouri has been unable to run the football effectively, something they have to do here today.
We're going to look at one of the top teams in the country, ranked number 2 on one poll, number 3 on another. Miami Hurricanes are an awesome football team.
Well, Miami is so very difficult to beat because they can defeat you in so many ways. They're gifted offensively, a great defense with team speed. 3 keys for Miami this afternoon. They've got to protect Craig Erickson. They have not done that the first 2 games. They've given up 5 sacks, 5 all of last year. The defense has been dominant in the first 2 contests. They have to remain so. And you can't be overconfident, even though it looks like they're a much better football team than Missouri, at least on paper.
As for Missouri, this is what we think they have to do to stay in this ball game.
Well, number 1, they've got to take care of the football. Didn't do a good job last week against Indiana. Had several turnovers, a couple in key situations when they were just about to score. Tim Bruton, the fine All-American candidate at tight end, didn't catch a pass last week after 8 receptions in his first week. And defensively, Missouri has got to do a good job of keeping Miami out of the end zone, at least not giving up quick scores.
All right, Dave, we're looking forward to this one. Strap yourself in. That football's going to be flying into your living room as you watch this one between Missouri and Miami. We'll have the opening kickoff right after this.
I get a big kick out of shopping with Isabel. She's so picky. She's got to have Albertsons Supreme Produce. She says it's the freshest, and they sure have a lot. She could spend hours there. She says it's all the more beautiful because it's priced so low, like everything there. So we don't just buy our produce at Albertsons. After all, there's more to life than carrots and onions.
Albertsons. We think like you do.
Cable, it's community programming.
Cable is often perceived as just a carrier for networks like Cable News Network and HBO. And while that's excellent programming, they can't provide the kind of local interest and issues of local importance that local cable systems can provide to the community.
It's different. We go on location every week. We do a show. It takes about a 10-hour day. But the people can come out in the local community and be involved and be part of it.
Cable in Florida. We're at your service.
Oh, beautiful for spacious as for and the winds of grain, for purple mountains majesty, above the sweeping plain.
America is burying itself in over 500,000 tons of trash every 24 hours. If you're not recycling, you're throwing it all away.
Wind will play a factor today. The wind coming out of the north at 10 to 20 miles per hour. It's rather breezy here. As you see, 59 degrees, just an absolute perfect day. And Missouri will start with the wind at their back in this first quarter. Missouri won the toss. They deferred until the second half. Miami leads this brief series 2-0. The Hurricane won last year down in the Orange Bowl by the final score of 55-0. The first meeting way back in 1950. Miami again has won both contests. Dennis Erickson in his first year with the Miami Hurricane, coming out of Washington State. Erickson likes to throw the football a lot. That one-back offense, and we look for Miami to put the ball airmail quite a bit here this afternoon. Bob Stoll in his first year out of the University of Texas El Paso. He turned around that program, and he is expected to do the same here in Columbia. Once again, Missouri will start with the wind at their back, and they're going to need the wind at their back, Mr. Logan, as the Miami Hurricane come into this contest on the strength of a couple of easy wins to start the year, and they are talking about their offense sputtering, believe it or not.
It's kind of hard to figure when you score 92 points in the first couple of games, actually 82 points, but they haven't been pleased with the execution offensively, and this is a team, of course, in the last 3 years that has been extremely proficient at doing what they do best, and that's put the ball in the end zone. We told you earlier that they've given up 5 sacks in the first 2 games, and they gave up only 5 the entire year last year. So Dennis Erickson, although happy with the start, is less than thrilled with the way his offense has performed early.
Kicking off for the Missouri Tigers will be Mark Plunkett. He is their punter. Dan Baker will kick the extra points and the field goals. So Mark Plunkett will kick off with a wind at his back. Back deep for the Miami Hurricanes to get it. Alex Johnson, number 21, and number 3, Randall Hill.
Number 3, Randall Hill.
Randall Hill with 4.37 speed. He is a flyer, the fastest man on the Miami team. 45,000 expected for this one. And here we go. Hill gets it. Now he lets it go through the end zone. So Miami will come on the attack. Craig Erickson takes over the controls of the Hurricane. With the early departure of Steve Walsh, he continues the long line of fine quarterbacks at Miami. Wesley Carroll leads the parade of a host of great receivers for the Canes. In Dennis Erickson's one-back offense, we really expect the ball in the air a lot. And Randall Hill, the guy with 4.37 speed, also an outstanding one at the wide receiver position. Mike Sullivan anchors a strong offensive line. He started every game since walking into Miami campus 3 years ago. This makes 27 straight. Again, there's Craig Erickson coming in this year. Steve Walsh leaves early for the NFL. He's now with the Dallas Cowboys, and Erickson takes over the controls. Last week, 25 of 48, but he had 4 interceptions, and he was sacked 4 times. I'm sure that offensive line was challenged with trying to protect Erickson today. Right away, the Canes want to throw. It's completed to the fullback, Leonard Conley. Actually, the halfback, the only guy back there. Conley out of the backfield gets it. And now let's look at defense for Missouri. 6'1" and 275. That's Lee Johnson. He's the smaller of the Johnson brothers. Mario, 6'5", 285. And the linebacker positions, Darren McDonald, he started 33 straight. He's the leading tackler. And Adrian Jones, one of the finest cornerbacks in the country. A fine secondary for Missouri. First down for the Canes at the 30-yard line. Erickson again back to pass. He's got his receiver across the middle. That's Rob Chudzinski, the tight end. Chudzinski with his first catch of the year. Cordell McKinney comes up from the cornerback position to make the stop.
Well, you've seen initially what Miami likes to do. They've started in a 3 wide receiver set, gone to the 1-back. You can call him a tailback, a fullback, but he's the only guy back there in Conley. First play, they dump it out and let Conley behind the offensive line pick up some yardage. That time they put Conley in motion to the trip side, the wide receiver side, and allow Chudzinski to work one-on-one into the seams of the zone. It's a complicated offense, especially when you look at it from the other side of the football, because invariably you find yourself outmanned unless you make adjustments before the ball is snapped.
All the receivers go wide to the right. This time the give is to Conley. He runs into some traffic, and now he's bouncing off tacklers almost to midfield up to the 47-yard line. Cordell McKinney again on the stop, along with outside linebacker Mike Ringenberg. If Ringenberg's last name rings a bell, it's because his brother plays center field for the Kansas State Wildcats. This Missouri defense will be challenged today. One of the more potent offenses in the country in Miami, but that's not the real story with the Hurricane. It's their defense that everybody's talking about. Second down, 4 yards to go from the 47. Again, the give is to Conley. He is stopped at midfield. He'll be stopped shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1. Ringenberg again on the stop.
Well, Missouri defensively wants to try to take something away from Miami. You can't allow them the ability to run and throw. And it's important for Missouri to have some sort of success early. Leonard Conley is a guy that doesn't look like he's big enough to play, and yet gets the job done. He's a terrific pass receiver out of the backfield and has the ability, even at a small size, to break a lot of tackles.
3rd and 1. Conley again hit at the line of scrimmage, behind the line, first of all, by Mario Johnson. And I think they stopped him before he got the first down. This one's going to be close. It depends on where they mark the football.
Well, a good job of penetration by Mario Johnson. You can see Conley gets knocked off his feet well before he gets to the first down marker. Miami looks like they're going to go for it, which is an interesting call about midfield.
Miami feels like they have the guns, the offensive line, to go for it on 4th and 1. Conley around the outside. He has that and a whole bunch more. Conley got outside and wasn't stopped until Leon Fisher came up from his free safety position, but there's a flag on the play. Missouri is clapping. It could be against Miami.
You're probably going to have a personal foul as Miami and the Tigers getting involved with a little extracurricular activity after the ball was dead. It's okay to be vocal and certainly to be enthusiastic, but you have to pick and choose your spots to do that, and that time not a very good choice.
Dave, it's interesting. You talk about Miami. They've certainly had that bad boy reputation for several years, and it was interesting in the first play this year. First call made, personal foul against the Hurricanes.
Well, they intimidate a lot of teams. I mean, they walk out on the field expecting to win, and of course they play well enough to achieve that goal, but they intimidate clubs that are not playing as well as they possibly could against themselves.
It's a first down for Miami, but then they marked the penalty. Obviously, the personal foul came after the first down was picked up. So now it'll be first down, but 25 to go. Ball back at the Miami 41-yard line. First and 25 for the Canes from their own 41. Conley goes in motion. Erickson, no pressure, underthrows his intended receiver on the near side. That was intended for Doyle Aaron, and it's underthrown, and that will be second now and 25 back at the 41.
They say Craig Erickson may have the strongest arm of any of the University of Miami quarterbacks. Of course, there are 4 now in the National Football League, all making well over $1 million, but Erickson has patiently waited his turn. He waited for Steve Walsh, now the Cowboys, to depart. And now he's the guy.
Boy, Jim Kelly, Bernie Kosar, Vinny Testaverde, Steve Walsh.
Some great ones.
That's some legacy. Chudzinski falls down after catching the football. A gain of only about 4 on the play up to the 45. Ringenberg was there to make sure he stayed down along with Darren McDonald. A gain of only 4. That's going to bring up 3rd and 21 back at the 45-yard line. And now the Tigers find themselves in a situation where they can be a little more aggressive defensively. They can blitz it they'd like. 3rd and 21. You've got to make sure that Erickson doesn't have a lot of time to stand back in the pocket. Here comes the blitz. Erickson gets out of it. He's trying to scoot for the first down, but he is caught from behind by Darren McDonald. McDonald came on the blitz and got him from behind, short of the first down at the Missouri 42-yard line.
So I think this is a good call defensively. Right to the left of the screen, you see the inside linebackers, McDonald and Reiner, both come, and although they allow Erickson to escape a little bit, 3rd and 21, certainly enough time to close on him defensively. Can't let him sit back in the pocket and look the entire field over, even with 21 yards to go.
Maurice Benson is back to get it. Waiting the punt of Tim Kalal. Into the wind. A high punt. It's hanging up. A fair catch called for and caught by Maurice Benson. And Missouri will start their offense at the 11-yard line. Ken Kiefer steps out of the Phoenix Junior College into the controls of a revamped Missouri offense. Kiefer's thrown for a good percentage. He can find his targets if given the time. Tim Bruton just may be the best tight end in the country. He caught 8 passes in Missouri's opening win over Texas Christian. They couldn't find him last week at Indiana. Brad Funk, a bright future on that Missouri front line. Pete Scott and Andy Locke also starting. They were questionable with injuries. Now Missouri shows a one-back offense. Kiefer right away to throw. He's found his tight end. That's Bruton with the catch. And Richard Newble makes the stop. Defensively for Miami, the Hurricane might be the best in the country. Greg Mark has a marquee lineup on the front wall. It's almost impenetrable. Linebackers, Maurice Crum is terrific. So is Bernard Clark, the man they call Tiger. The secondary, Kenny Berry. He has 2 interceptions. So does Roland Smith. Stop behind the line of scrimmage. Greg Mark comes in. He's an outstanding one, an All-American candidate. A 5th-year senior.
Well, Miami, the last 3 years, they've received so much recognition offensively that maybe some have overlooked the great defense. But I think Dennis Erickson feels right now that the defense may be the best part of his football team. Greg Mark has outstanding quickness, as do the rest of the Miami Hurricane defensive players. Maybe the fastest defensive unit in America. They've got some guys that can really run. 3rd and 10, 3rd and make it 12 now. The give is to White. He is smothered behind the line of scrimmage by Cortez Kennedy. Wow, this Miami defense has only allowed 10 first downs all year, not a touchdown. They haven't given up a touchdown in 3 games now. That dates back to the Orange Bowl against Nebraska. I think what you're seeing early is Bob Stoll not wanting to make any critical mistakes in the shadow of his own goal line. 3rd and 11, the lead play, not going to work with a defense that's blitzing both inside linebackers.
Mark Plunkett boots it from his own end zone. Waiting to get it is Pee Wee Smith. Back at his own 40-yard line. A wobbly kick that will hit around midfield and kick out at midfield. It goes out of play at midfield. That's where Miami will restart their offense. No score. 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. We're glad you're along on the Prime Network today as 2nd-ranked Miami takes on the Missouri Tigers of the Big 8 Conference.
And now with good field position, Dave, Miami really can do pretty much what they'd like. It's been a balanced attack so far in the first couple of games. They've averaged well over 300 yards passing, but they've also been able to run the football to about 150 yards per game tune. And when you have the ball at midfield, you really can open up the grab bag if you'd like it, even a couple of trick plays.
Prime Network brings you excellent coverage of Big 8 football this fall. You'll see Oklahoma versus Kansas. In Missouri against Colorado. Nebraska will take on Oklahoma State. That's just to name a few. Catch all the action of Big 8 football this fall on the Prime Network. And we'll have that OU-KU game coming up next week. Check your local listings. Nice crowd here at Faurot Field. We'll be talking with Don Faurot at halftime. They have held a 50-year reunion of the 1939 Missouri team that went to the Orange Bowl, and we'll be talking with the guy who's 87 years old, still very active in Missouri athletics, and we'll be talking with Don at halftime here in this contest. Craig Erickson, number 7 of the Miami Hurricane. Boy, he comes from a long lineage of great football players. His father was a backup quarterback at Northwestern, and his grandfather was an All-American tight end at Pitt. He brings his team up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from midfield. Erickson back to throw. A little pass across the middle to his tight end, Chudzinski. Adrian Jones was there along with Tom Reiner defensively for the Tigers. But a pickup of about 12 on the play. It'll be 1st down Miami inside Missouri territory at the 38-yard line.
Same concept as you saw the first play. The trips, the 3 wide receivers to the left that time. And Missouri, of course, having to adjust to that side, moving the inside linebacker actually out, and Chudzinski able to move almost by himself, able to work into the open seam. Nice concept.
The give is to the halfback. That's Shannon Crowell. He goes around the right side, picks up about 8 on the play. Looked like he was stopped, but he got 8. Leon Fisher finally gets him down at the 30-yard line.
You know, one of the things that makes Miami such a great team is depth. And this looks like Leonard Conley, but it isn't. Shannon Crowell able to pick and choose his spots. Good job of the offensive line sustaining their blocks. Little guys back there can scoop through those holes. Tough to see them. And they almost have interchangeable parts at wide receiver and running back.
2nd and 2 at the 30-yard line. Clock ticking with about 8:05 left to go in the first quarter. Again, it's Crowell. Excellent speed, but He trips as he tries to go around the corner. Lee Johnson there to get him.
Take a look up front. You'll see good inside blocking, but a nice job of cutting through by Lee Johnson as Correll tries to make his move. The one-back offense is designed for a back to have the ability to pick and choose his spots. Miami can run to either side effectively. It's usually utilized with 2 tight ends, but in this case, Miami has 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end and 1 back.
3rd down, 2 yards to go. They give again, and it slips again. Crowell cannot get back to past the line of scrimmage very far. Maybe a pickup of 1, but it'll be shy of the 1st down. That'll be an interesting decision. Will they bring Huerta on for the field goal, or do they go for it on 4th down?
They'll probably go for it, and I can just hear Dennis Erickson looking to the trainer and saying, or the equipment guy saying, get him some new shoes. Miami's having a tough time keeping their footing on the turf here.
Here they go, 4th down and 2 from the 29-yard line. Erickson wants to throw on 4th down. Out of bounds. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Doyle Aaron, and Cordell McKinney with outstanding defensive help.
Good job by the Miami defense. Don't know if we can see it, but McKinney will actually take Aaron all the way out of bounds. Had Aaron been able to come back and catch this football, you can see he clearly is out of bounds even when he goes up for the initial attempt. Had he been able to come down with the ball in bounds, the play would have not counted. As we said, Aaron was knocked out of bounds previously by Cordell McKinney. Nice job by the Missouri defense.
Ted LePage also coming over from his free safety position to make the play. We have a flag on the play as White picks up about 8. There might be a hold, though. Let's hang on. There is holding against Missouri. Actually, that was Stowers on the carry. Stowers with a pickup of about 7 or 8 on the play. Bernard Clark, the middle linebacker, stopped him, but it'll all be for naught as there was a flag on the play.
Looked like a nice job on the delay, and it's too bad because it's been the first positive play really the Tigers have had. It's more or less the delayed draw. Tough to see as to where the hold occurs, but a nice job of Missouri opening up a hole for Stowers.
10-yard penalty brings up 1st down and 20 back at the 20 for the Tigers. Something they definitely have to avoid, the turnovers and the penalties. Kiefer audibleizing at the line. Kiefer back to throw. Little flare out pass to White. He slips down. Dave, a lot of guys having trouble keeping their footing here on this turf.
Well, the Tigers should be used to it, because obviously they play their home games here. But so far, as you mentioned, everybody has been slipping down. Nice job initially here. I don't know what's going on. They got to get some new tennis shoes or something to help keep that footing.
The turf here not that old, only about 4 years old, and there hasn't been rain here for a couple of days, so it can't be that. Well, you see Missouri's numbers on offense so far. 2nd down, a long way to go. Kiefer with a lot of time. Now he tucks it over under, and he wants to run with it. He goes out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Forced out by Bernard Clark.
Good job by the Miami defense, and a good job by Kiefer as well. Pulling the ball down, not forcing the throw. You can see pretty good pass protection, something the Tigers have had their problems with the first 2 games. Kiefer trying to find somebody open, and now you just got to get as many as you can. Again, you have a pretty good look as to why that defense is so good. Very, very quick. Linebackers that run 4.7, 4.8 to 40. They just got great speed, and you can see defensively giving up 150 yards per game. That is called dominant defense.
Absolutely. 3rd down, 12 to go at the 28. Kiefer, a little flare pass. It almost was picked off. Stowers actually broke that one up. Charles Farms came up from his free safety position, had a free crack at it, but Stowers knocked it away.
Well, Kiefer reads the blitz, and I'm not sure anybody else does. He expects Stowers to break inside, and as you mentioned, there's Farms right on the money. A good job by Tommy Stowers preventing the interception. That's what happens when teams aren't used to throwing a lot. Sometimes you get yourself in a predicament where you're not on the same page as a quarterback and receiver weren't.
Plunkett again to punt with the win. Another wobbly kick. Pee Wee has it at his own 31. He scoots to the outside and goes out of bounds near midfield. They'll mark it out out at the 47-yard line of Miami. And with 5:29 left to go in the first quarter, still no score. We'll be right back.
This Sunshine Network, Florida's only sports and public affairs network.
Nissan loses again to the #1 selling import in the United States, Toyota. Jimmy Bryan Toyota and Longwood Toyota say don't make a $1,300 mistake. Nissan 240 XE Coupe, $13,509. Toyota Celica Coupe, $12,138. You save over $1,300 when you buy a Celica. What about trucks? We'll save you big bucks on Toyota trucks. Why spend more for a second-place Nissan? When you compare price and quality, there's one clear winner, Toyota. Get your savings at Longwood Toyota and Jimmy Bryan Toyota.
Rocky IV, he fought for his country.
What the hell is this?
Now Dolph Lundgren is taking off his gloves and taking on an entire army. They think they control him. Think again. Dolph Lundgren, Red Scorpion.
He's an indestructible fighting machine. Dolph Lundgren is Red Scorpion on Viewer's Choice.
All the country, and we're in Columbia now on the campus of the University of Missouri. It's an actually just absolutely beautiful day here in central Missouri, as we have about 60 degrees, a wind of about 10 to 20 miles per hour, a little brisk, but this is football weather, and it feels great here in the middle of September. Craig Erickson on the year, completing only 49% of his passes. And Erickson steps in, Dave, not only to replace Steve Walsh, but he steps into that new offense. So he's been training for the last couple of years under the old offense of Jimmy Johnson. Now he takes over the helm, and he's got to learn a whole new playbook.
I think you'll see his percentage get that much better when he starts to take the easy throws and not try to force the football.
Play action pass, and Erickson has all kinds of time. Now he scrambles out as his receivers were covered, and good coverage by Mario Johnson. Johnson stops him for no gain out of bounds at the 47.
This will be a play that when Miami watches the film in the next couple of days, Craig Erickson will say, oh, did I miss Leonard Conley, who was standing all by himself in front of the Missouri bench, waving desperately for Erickson to find, although sometimes it's certainly tougher down on the field than it is up here. You can see the total yardage, at least initially, all Miami.
So far, there are no points on the board. We're still scoreless as the clock ticks down here in the first quarter. Conley again goes in motion. Erickson again looking, lots of time, batted down by Johnson at the line of scrimmage. Boy, Mario Johnson getting the start in the place of Jeff Harper in the nose guard position has been everywhere.
If you're a Missouri fan, this is exactly how you wanted the game to start, with your defense starting to gain some confidence, make some plays, and the longer they can do this, the longer they can stay in this football game, the tougher they will be. They'll start to believe themselves that they've got a chance to win the game. They know they're playing the second-ranked team in the country, a team that is explosive and certainly capable of putting on a lot of points. But so far, Missouri's been able to come up with the big play when they've had to.
Mario and his brother Lee Johnson like to say, as Johnson and Johnson will give you a wax job for free. 3rd and 10 from the 47. Erickson again with lots of time. Chudzinski fumbles it. It goes out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it down. The official has it right near the first down marker inside Missouri territory at the 42. Adrian Jones was the guy that popped the ball loose.
Well, this is not going to be a popular call. Let's see now if he goes out of bounds with the football before the ball pops out. Chudzinski with the reception. Good tackle by Jones. Tough to see in that particular angle. If he had the first down, I believe the official has marked him a little bit short. Let's take a look at it again. Adrian Jones, an excellent defensive back. Watch and see where he is when the ball is knocked loose.
There it goes.
Now, see, I think he's still in bounds. If that's the call, they should mark the ball as to where the ball went out of bounds. And I don't think we're going to be happy. It's actually going to be ruled a first down.
It's tough to tell from that angle, too, Dave, as to what angle or trajectory the ball went out. It might have just gone straight out of bounds from there.
And again, that's why Miami can hurt so many teams defensively. You get them in the hole, 3rd down and 10. They're able to sneak the tight end on a crossing route and pick up the first down.
Chudzinski so far, again, very accurate, 42 yards. Chudzinski's been his main target. Conley goes around the outside. Now he has room to run, and he's finding finally tackled, but not before he picks up a first down at the 30-yard line. Andy Titoni comes up from his inside linebacker position to make the stop, the junior out of St. Louis.
Well, they hurt you during the passing attack, then they pulled two big offensive linemen, as you can see, and Mike Sullivan doing a good job along with Rod Holder leading Conley around the corner. So many different ways Miami can move the football.
Another first down at the 29-yard line. Miami not yet on the scoreboard, though, but this drive not taking a lot of time. They're going out of bounds a lot. Still 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Again, Conley has it again. He wants to roam to the outside. Forced out after a pickup of 2 or 3 by Adrian Jones. Jones is absolutely one of the most popular athletes on this Missouri team and one of the best athletes. Here's a guy who was picked up by the Cincinnati Reds, even though he hasn't played baseball since his junior year in high school.
Well, here's a guy that has to pick up Leonard Conley coming around that corner. And he certainly is popular, but he's one of the best hitters the Missouri Tigers have had as well. Didn't play very well last year down in the Orange Bowl. Gave up 3 long touchdown passes. But as you said, Jones, one of the better corners in America.
One of the few players from the Miami area. Erickson with a little flare out. Conley lets it go. Conley had it in his hands. It might not have gained very much anyway. LePage was closing ground quickly.
Sometimes those running backs hear little pitter-patters of feet. And that time, I think Ted LePage was closing on Conley. That's the one-back offense where you send the back in motion, the 3 wide receivers to that side. They go out. If the linebackers drop, of course, then Conley is the guy that gets the ball.
Pretty good percentage on 3rd down. This is 3rd and long, 3rd and 9 for the Hurricanes. Again, Erickson just stands back in that pocket with all day to throw. He goes across the middle. His receiver. Dale Dawkins with a catch. Mike Ringenberg on the stop. Darren McDonald also there, along with Tom Reiner.
Missouri, again, long yardage situation. Most college teams will play zone, and when a quarterback has this much time to stand back and look from receiver to receiver, you're going to find somebody open. Dawkins is a big play guy. He's got good enough size. He'll go across the middle. He catches the ball. Very, very good jumper. They've got 3 excellent receivers to start and a couple that sit the bench.
Conley again on the right side. Stopped after a pickup of only a couple down to the 15. Mario Johnson in on the stop, along with the free safety Leon Fisher. Real good crowd here on hand today at Columbia, and they're enjoying the action. Bundled up in their coats. A stiff breeze coming out of the north. Really an excellent day to watch football. Skies are absolutely clear. Not a cloud in the sky. 2nd and 9. The ball at the 15-yard line. Receivers to the near side. Erickson looking that way. Goes into the end zone. Batted away. Leon Fisher bats it away. And that brings up 3rd down.
Well, again, Miami with the same offensive concept. 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. The inside receiver will go straight up the field. And Erickson tries to fit the football into the seam before Fisher can get there. And you see an excellent job by Fisher beating the football before Erickson can get it in.
Now Erickson 5 of 10 for 53 yards. 3rd and 9 from the 15. Blitz. Here comes a blitz. He gets it off, but it's incomplete. LePage again and Adrian Jones there defensively, and Missouri stops him.
I think it's real clear here in the early going that Missouri has made a statement, hey, on 3rd down, don't bet on standing back there and wait for things to develop. You may beat us one-on-one, but you're going to have to get rid of the football quickly, and that's exactly what the Tiger defense has done so far.
Huerta's only miss from 53 yards. He's deadly from this range. This will be a 32-yard field goal. Hold is good. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. Second miss of the year, and we're still scoreless with 3:36 to go in the first quarter. We'll be back to Columbia in just a moment.
Don't miss out on double double cash back at your Gold Star Dodge dealer. To move out the remaining 89 Dodge inventory, we doubled the cash back on Dodge Omni and Shadow. Now you get $1,500 cash back. On other Dodge models, get 0% financing. Get $2,000 cash back on full-size Ram Tough Dodge pickup truck this weekend. Now, hurry to your Gold Star Dodge dealer before Monday night.
All day long I worry about what my boss thinks. So it sure is nice when someone worries about what I think. I want to save more money and more time when I do my grocery shopping. Because between my job and my kids, I don't have time to drive all over town for bargains. And you know what? Someone at Albertsons had the same idea. Because at Albertsons, I save time and money every time. I like that kind of thinking.
Albertsons. We think like you do.
Head coach Bob Stoll, who started his head coaching experience at Massachusetts, then went on to University of Texas at El Paso, first year here at Missouri. Dick Tamburro, the athletic director, told me last night, hey, I've been watching this guy since the early 70s when we were on the Kent State staff together, both assistant coaches there. And Tamburro said, I've been keeping my eye on this guy, and we finally got it.
Well, he's been successful at every stop, Massachusetts and UTEP, and he learned his football under Don James, who's had a little bit of success, I would say, as the head coach of the Washington Huskies the last decade.
Keeper brings the Tigers on the attack again from their own 20-yard line. Almost a fumbled exchange from the center. Keeper rolls out. Pass is picked off. Picked off by Maurice Crum, and he's got a touchdown. Boy, this defense does do it all. Not only do they stuff you on your offense, but they also score points.
Maurice Crum with the interception for Miami.
Kent Keefer just makes a bad throw. He's got Tim Bruton wide open in a crossing route. Had he been able to get the football up and over, he's got a big play, but he throws it directly into the hands of Maurice Crum. Here's a guy that made second-team All-American last year and didn't even start every game. Big play outside linebacker, and you can see that Miami defensively is very capable, maybe as capable as the offense in the first couple of games.
So it's the defense who puts the first points up on the board for the Hurricane. Huerta has not missed an extra point in his career at Miami. This one's up, and it's good. He is now 55 of 55 on extra points. Carlos Huerta makes it 7-0 Miami with 3:24 left to go in the first quarter.
And now if you're Bob Stoll, you've got to get your kids together on the sideline and help them regain their composure. The defense had played so well, you're coming off a high because Miami misses a short field goal, you make a bad throw, and all of a sudden, boom, you're down 7-0. Still plenty of time, and Miami is so explosive that you want to make sure you don't lose your kids early in this game. Maurice Crum into the end zone. He's been there a couple of times, and we're going to see a little get-together.
And yesterday in practice, Dave, we were watching, and they were actually practicing their end zone celebration. Yeah, that's how confident they were going into this game.
That's not spontaneous. They get together, a little circle, and they've got a little choreographer, a few dance steps. All they need is one of those big music boxes. They can really get together.
What's interesting, though, with the wide receivers, the guys that were practicing, it's the defense, the guys that score. Huerta will kick off. Back deep for the Tigers. Sean Moore and Ronell Cahill. This is a squib kick from Huerta into the wind. It's picked up and stopped almost immediately at the 35-yard line. Jim Collins, fullback, was the guy who got his hands on the football, returns it a few yards up to the 35, and that's pretty good for Missouri. Be able to start at their own 35-yard line, down 7-0.
And now if you're Kent Keefer, you've got to have a short memory. You've got excellent field position, still in the first quarter. Go ahead and do the things that have allowed you to secure the #1 job here at Missouri. He's a guy that makes big plays. He's got a good throwing arm. He's fairly elusive. Forget the last throw and get on with the offense.
His keeper's numbers today, short yards on his passing, 4 interceptions on the year. Keeper that give the second back throw, and man, he was stuffed as soon as he got his hands on the football. Michael Jones stopped quickly by Shane Curry.
Well, Curry makes a good play, but this is going to happen when a defensive outside linebacker comes untouched inside. Hello. You can see the head snap back. Very, very quick, again, to point out, they've got great athletic ability, especially in linebacker. They've got guys that combine quickness and speed, and they're tough to block at the line of scrimmage. But they're certainly tough to block when nobody even makes an attempt, and that was a blown assignment.
Keeper again with the audible on 2nd down and 11 yards to go. Keeper with a pass out to his tight end, Larry Lithicum. Not much doing there. Picked up maybe 2 or 3 on the play. Defensively, Richard Newbill, the linebacker, was there to stop it cold.
So far, Missouri really has thrown nothing but 3-step drop passes. That's designed, of course, to let that offense have some success and to get rid of the football before Miami can put a lot of pressure on them. 10 quarterback sacks in the first 2 games against the Missouri Tigers, and you're playing a defense again that comes at you from all angles. 4 defensive linemen, they bring linebackers, they really put pressure on your offense.
Now from the shotgun formation. Miami showing blitz. Keeper, though, has all kinds of time. There's a flag on the play. Across the middle, picked off again. This one picked off by Roland Smith. He comes around the near side and is knocked out of bounds by Smiley Elmore, but he's in Missouri territory at the 35-yard line. Let's see what the flag is about. Missouri is saying it's against Miami.
Well, let's give credit to the offensive line for a good job of allowing Keeper to stand in the pocket, and this is a ball that has to be caught. You can see Damon Mays, as he just has the ball go off his hands. Well, that's a play you have to make as a wide receiver. Got to go up and catch the ball. Looked like he tried to catch it with his chest, bounced off his pads, and that interception will come back, fortunately, for the Tigers.
That's right, a break for the Tigers as Miami was offside, so it'll be 3rd down all over again.
Offside, defense, still 3rd.
3rd and 5. No, make it 3rd and 4 now for the Tigers at their own 43-yard line.
Easy enough call. Offsides, defense. I kind of like it because National Football League, of course, they point out as to who was the culprit.
Yes.
At least here in college, we can just guess.
That's coming from a former player.
Boy, I used to hate it. The offensive linemen hate it probably worse than anybody.
Keeper under center this time, not shotgun. Keeper finding some room now on the outside. He skirts for the first time, but another flag on the play.
Yeah, this one's coming back. It's going to be offensive holding, I think.
Keeper doing a good job scrambling. Maurice Crum forced him out of bounds, but this time the penalty will go against the Tigers. Holding call
flag on the play.
On the Tigers.
They just keep coming after you defensively.
Holding the offense. 3rd down.
3rd down all over again. We'll get a 3rd crack at it here. This time it'll be 3rd and 14 for the Tigers back at the 33-yard line. Let's take another look.
Take a look. The protection has been pretty good. You can see that's number 63 for the Tigers with a handful of jersey, Jake Greenwood, trying to protect Keeper.
Keeper again with the audible. Bauer stays in to block. Wide open. Lindsey Collins. Touchdown. Lindsey Collins, his first touchdown for the Tigers.
Well, if he looks like he's wide open, he certainly is, as Lindsey Collins runs under a pass that he could have fair caught. You can see the Miami defenders trying to catch him. But Kenny Berry, the fine senior quarterback, fell down on a play. By the time he got back up, Lindsey Collins was just about in the end zone.
Lindsey Collins, a junior college transfer out of Bakersfield Junior College in California. Originally from St. Louis, came closer to home. He almost went to Miami. Dan Baker coming in for the extra point. Baker taking the place of Jeff Jackie, who's out for the season with an injury. We're tied at 7. Dan Baker, good on the extra point. And we've got a tie ball game with 1:16 to go in the first quarter.
He said it was important for the Missouri defense to have some success early against this vaunted Hurricane offense, and equally as important for the offense of the Tigers to make a big play or two. Certainly that was a big one. But Dave, you said Lindsey Collins almost going to Miami. He was ready to sign a letter of intent with Jimmy Johnson. But after Johnson, of course, went to the National Football League and Dennis Erickson took over, it was kind of a mutual parting, and Collins decided he would be better off at the University of Missouri. You'll see it, and Kiefer doesn't get a lot of the football because he realizes Collins is all by himself. Kenny Berry has slipped down to the ground. He is not even in our view, and Collins knows right there that he's home free.
Well, that's got to be a great feeling running for that end zone, knowing no one's going to catch you.
I tell you, you're so wide open that the first thing you think of is, oh, please let me make this catch. You don't want to drop the ball, and Collins didn't.
Mark Plunkett will kick off for the Tigers. This place is going crazy. The second-ranked Miami Hurricane is getting surprised right now by Missouri. We're tied at 7. We're still in the first quarter with 1:16 to go in the opening stanza. This time a shorter kick. Randall Hill will take it from his own 4. He almost got outside. He stopped and knocked out of bounds at the 24-yard line. The first touchdown of the year against the Miami defense. It only took 2 minutes and 16 seconds, the big play. And I said third time's the charm on that third down play. And there it was, Lindsey Collins, a 67-yard touchdown pass. Kent Kiefer. For Kiefer, his second touchdown pass of the year. They give to Conley. Missouri's line stuffs him right there after a pickup of 2. Ringenberg got him for the Tigers along with Darren McDonald, and Leon Fisher came up from his free safety position as well.
Leonard Conley's made a living the last couple of years of breaking tackles. He keeps on running, spinning, but this is also how you get your bell rung. And you can see about 4 black helmets doing a good job of gang tackling.
Second down, 7 yards to go. The ball at the 27-yard line. Conley in motion. A little quick run to Chudzinski. He's wide open. The linebacker didn't stay home to cover him. Chudzinski picks it up to the 43-yard line. A first down for Miami. Ted LePage finally got him from the strong safety position.
Good job by Erickson. As Stacy Elliott, the linebacker, had actually moved outside with Conley when he went in motion. He left Chudzinski uncovered. Just looks inside and gains quite a few yards.
The offense is sputtering so far for Miami. They've picked up a lot of first downs, but that Missouri defense is holding tough when they get near the goal line. Conley outside. It's got some room. There's a flag on the play. Collins is tripped up by Adrian Jones and also Leon Fisher, but there's a flag. Let's see what that's about. The early indication is against Miami. They're walking back towards their own goalpost. It is holding against the Hurricane. Imagine you're with Miami and you're on that defensive team and you're looking at that offense saying, hey, it's your turn. We got 1 touchdown. You get 1. Holding. First down. First down again, but the ball pushed back to the 37-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15 for the Hurricane from there.
We've seen in the past in situations like this, especially on 3rd down, but even on 1st down once, the Tigers very aggressive defensively, able to put some pressure on Erickson.
That's the end of the first quarter. Our score, Missouri 7, Miami 7. The crowd here in Columbia loves it. And we'll come back in just a moment.
You're watching Sunshine Network.
Nissan loses again to the #1 selling import in the United States, Toyota. Jimmy Bryan Toyota and Longwood Toyota say don't make a $1,300 mistake. Nissan 240 XE Coupe, $13,509. Toyota Celica Coupe, $12,138. You save over $1,300 when you buy a Celica. What about trucks? We'll save you big bucks on Toyota trucks. Why spend more for a second-place Nissan? When you compare price and quality, there's one clear winner, Toyota. Get your savings at Longwood Toyota and Jimmy Bryan Toyota.
The gun show.
Florida's largest gun show is this weekend at the Central Florida Fairgrounds. Guns, custom knives, military memorabilia, and accessories. Buy, sell, trade, or browse over 600 tables in 2 air-conditioned buildings. Admission just $375. Kids under 12 free with parents. Special Friday night preview 3 to 9 p.m. for just $250. There's something for everyone. This weekend at the Central Florida Fairgrounds, Highway 50, free parking.
See you there.
Children are here. Can you hear the new drummer? The future is clear. A generation of change, a generation of song, a generation of laughter coming on strong, a generation of color, black, white, yellow, red, a generation of Pepsi, a generation ahead, a generation of Pepsi, generation.
Sunshine Network has another great season of college football featuring the nationally ranked Florida State Seminoles, the Atlantic Coast Conference, the Pac-10, and Major Independents. Score one for college football on Sunshine Network, Florida's best.
By now, the news is spreading throughout Columbia and throughout the campus here at the University of Missouri. The Tigers are right now holding Miami for all they can handle. 7-7 our score as we start the second quarter. It's first down, 16 yards to go for the Hurricane. Back at the 37. Erickson with time gets it out to Crowell on the wing. Not much doing there. A pickup of about 5 or 6 on the play. Ringenberg and Reiner there to make the stop.
You know, Miami's been known the past 3 or 4 years for having great receivers, and certainly this year's edition no different, but they have not been able to get the football to those receivers much this afternoon in the early going. It's been to the halfbacks, it's been to the tight ends, but so far the receivers really haven't been found.
Back to the original line of scrimmage at the 43. It's 2nd and 10. Erickson again with a quick drop. That ball is tipped and intercepted almost. Oh, Ted LePage had his hands on the football. Wow.
Pretty good pass protection as Erickson goes back and trying to hit the tight end on the seam pattern. And you can see LePage, number 14, reads this thing all the way. Almost comes up with what would have been a fantastic interception.
Erickson now 7 of 13 for only 59 yards. 3rd and 10.
And you can bet Missouri will be coming on defense.
Erickson audibilizing at the lines, feeling the blitz perhaps. Erickson has time, goes long distance, staying on his feet. Randall Hill down to the 5-yard line. Otis Smith forced him out there. I don't know how Smith caught him. Hill with that 4.37 speed.
His teammates nicknamed him Thrill Hill, and he's been a thrill a minute in his career. Pass protection is excellent. This is a nice throw by Craig Erickson. Hill gets behind the cornerback. I think Erickson checked off, expecting the blitz. Missouri backed off the blitz, and Erickson went to what looked to be the second receiver. Going to get a kid with that kind of speed. Once he breaks that initial plane and gets behind that cornerback, it's going to be trouble for defense.
You could sense Erickson sensing the blitz. He wanted to go long distance to Randall Hill, and he found his receiver on the wing. Now the give is to Crowell. Stuck at the line of scrimmage. Adrian Jones came up from his cornerback position to make the initial contact. A pickup of a couple on the play down to the 3-yard line. 3, 13-20 left to go in the first half. 7-7 our score. Crowell again. Dives over the top. He stopped short of the goal line. Tom Reiner came up to make the hit. Crowell tried to dive in from the 3. That's a long way to go airborne.
Reiner, the biggest of the 2 inside linebackers. McDonald's the leading tackler. But you'll see Reiner, number 47, really do a good job of sticking his helmet in there. Got to give the Missouri Tiger defense a lot of credit, because I think some folks, and especially Miami, felt they'd come in here and really successfully move the ball. They have at times, but the Tiger defense has made some big plays, too.
3rd and goal. Erickson again checking off at the line of scrimmage. To Crowell. Touchdown. That silences the crowd for the moment. But again, you have to give Missouri a lot of credit. It was 1st and goal at the 5, and it took Miami 3 plays to get in.
Well, this is Shannon Crowell just wanting the end zone. Darren McDonald, the inside linebacker, actually slides right into the hole untouched. See if we can see it. McDonald and Crowell meet about the yard line, but Crowell just turning those shoulders straight up. Take a look at Darren McDonald, number 55. He'll come from his right side. He's in position to make the tackle. That's a good job of running by Crowell.
Huerta's extra point is good. He's 12 of 12 now this year, and 56 of 56 in his career at Miami. And that gives the Hurricanes a 7-point lead over the Tigers. 12-28 left to go in the first half. We'll come back to Columbia in just a moment.
When I first started at Albertsons, they gave me some special training, and I learned to think like the customer. Well, it's obvious my customers don't want to wait in a long line. I mean, who does? So while the store saves them a lot of money, I save them a lot of time. I'm the last person a shopper deals with, so I better be good. One lady told me I'm the best she's ever seen. That was great.
Albertsons. We think like you do.
Don't miss out on double cash back at your Gold Star Dodge dealer. To move out the remaining 89 Dodge inventory, we double the cash back on Dodge Omni and Shadow. Now you get $1,500 cash back. On other Dodge models, get 0% financing. Get $2,000 cash back on full-size Ram Tough Dodge pickup trucks this weekend. Now, hurry to your Gold Star Dodge dealer before Monday night.
Miami will kick off with the wind at their back. Huerta will kick off for the Hurricanes. Back deep, Sean Moore and Ronell Cahill for the Tigers. Huerta now wants to put it on the far hash mark. That drive went 76 yards in 3 minutes 44 seconds. It took 8 plays. Crowell going in over from the 1. Short kick from Huerta. Picked up by Sean Moore. And he gains about 6 or 7 on the play up to the 25-yard line. There you see it, 8 plays, 76 yards. Crowell, a 1-yard touchdown run to give Miami a 14-7 lead over Missouri here with 12.5 minutes to go in the first half. There's a flag on the kickoff. It was against the Missouri Tigers. Interesting there in that Huerta, who has the legs certainly to kick it out of the end zone, decided to just hit one up high in the air and not just force him to take the ball at the 20-yard line.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Receiving team. First down.
Sometimes you get caught up in answering a challenge, so to speak, and if you do so in the view of an official, you're going to get penalized. You know, Missouri has not been able to run the football, as we said early, effectively the first couple of games. Had 58 yards against TCU and 66 against Indiana. And Bob Stahl has got to have a semblance of a balanced attack, because they don't go back and throw the ball, at least as effectively as Miami does, all the time.
Stowers the lone back. He's got the ball. He gets across, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Cortez Kennedy, who is as fast as Stowers, even though Kennedy weighs close to 300 pounds, stops him with the gain of maybe a half yard.
You see Tommy Stowers with 86 yards total in 2 games and a quarter. I think one of the problems that man faces is trying to adjust the personality of a team. They've been a flexbone team under Woody Wittenhofer, a team that ran almost exclusively. Now they want a balanced attack, and the offensive linemen have to pass protect that much more. And they've kind of got away from what they did best 2 or 3 years ago, and that's run the ball.
Keeper from the shotgun to Stowers, and Stowers can't find the handle. Well, the Miami defense was swarming. If he had caught it, Bernard Clark was waiting to smash him there.
That was going to be a shuttle pass, and I think Keeper decided that Stowers was covered when he wanted to flip it to him, and of course has the option then to dump it to him over the head of the on-rushing defensive lineman.
Now it's 3rd down and long, 3rd and 22, back at the 11-yard line.
Downs like this give offensive coordinators nightmares.
The draw play, that goes nowhere. Again, Kennedy stuffs it. Russell Maryland also in on the stop. Tommy Stowers goes nowhere. A loss of about 4 on the play.
You see, the fans don't like the call. 3rd and 22, you run the draw, but if you go back and you're not yet set with your pass protection, you get your quarterback killed. If you're not a team that gets involved in a lot of passes all the time, you're maybe not used to trying to pick up that much yardage. And a safe call, you allow your punting team to come on and hopefully be able to kick the ball, and then let your defense come out. They played reasonably well in the first quarter. Give them some good field position, or at least better than you would have had you turned the football over.
Bernard Clark is being helped off the field. Looked like he twisted something. He's now walking more under his own power as he comes off to the Miami sidelines. Mark Plunkett will punt from his own end zone. Pee-wee Smith back to get it near midfield. It's a low kick into the wind. It takes a bounce sort of for Missouri, not exactly for Missouri, sort of a sideways bounce, and it rolls dead at the 43-yard line. The Erickson guys, the guys that have taken over this Miami offense. Dennis Erickson, the coach, Craig Erickson, the quarterback, no relation. Although Erickson did play for his father in high school back in Tempe, Arizona.
He still holds the state high school records out of Arizona. Threw for over 6,400 yards and 51 touchdowns. No matter what level you're playing, that's a lot of football.
Erickson goes long distance off the fingertips of Dale Dawkins. Now Erickson wants a bundle and wants it quickly. His defense came in and stuffed the Tigers, and now Erickson said, I'm not going to dump it off anymore. We're going long distance on these. Again, you see Erickson's numbers. He has been averaging through the air about 275 yards a game. 2nd and 10, ball still at the 43-yard line. That's Conley in motion. Erickson again with plenty of time. It's Chudzinski. He drops the football. Defensive pressure there from Darren McDonald and Mike Ringenberg, and it brings up 3rd and 10.
Chudzinski usually catches the ball pretty well. Not a great athlete, not very big, not real fast, but always finds the open seam, and that time certainly did. The ball delivered right on the money and just couldn't come up with it.
Chudzinski got with great hands, despite the fact that he had one of his hands operated on in his freshman year at Miami. 3rd and 10 from the 43. Erickson with a deep drop. Across the middle, almost picked off. Ted LePage came up from his free safety position. Chudzinski again, the intended receiver. That one was behind him. So 3 plays and a punt for Miami.
That's a big defensive series for Missouri because they punt in the wind. They don't get a great kick. Miami has excellent field position. Certainly looking to move the football down, but the Tigers rise up and they force the Hurricanes to punt.
Benson is deep. That's Maurice Benson, number 23 for the Tigers. Tim Kalal will punt. for the Hurricane. With the wind at his back from his own 43, he can put this one in the end zone if he wants to. Does he want to? He gets a high kick, and it's sailing. Oh, what a beauty. It goes out of bounds at the 4-yard line. The old coffin corner kick from Tim Thalal, who can do it all from his punter position, and it goes out of bounds at the 4-yard line, and you got to believe, Dave, that the Hurricane defense is licking their chops as they come back on the field.
Well, you can certainly, as a defense, be that much more aggressive. Again, you can stunt, you can come after people, you can take more chances when you've got your opponent backed up in the shadow of their own goal line, and conversely, offensively, you're limited as to what you can do. You may take a pop at something long trying to sneak somebody behind the defense, but you can't do everything that you'd like to do when you're on your own 3-yard line.
That's Jim White going nowhere. Bernard Clark was there. Michael Barrow, who is playing in the place of Bernard Clark, who hobbled off the last time. Barrow with the stop right at the line of scrimmage, maybe even a loss of a half-yard. We'll call it 2nd and 10.
That's what I mean about interchangeable parts. Bernard Clark has been a 5th-year senior, a guy that's really played every linebacking position. Michael Barrow's a freshman. First time he gets in the ball game, makes something happen. And defensively, you can really come after him. As you saw, the inside linebacker blitz and got into the backfield untouched.
Again, the give is to White. This time he has a little bit of running room, not much. He gets outside for a pickup of about 3 on the play. Stop made by Bobby Harden.
White's a good hard-nosed kid, doesn't have great speed, but you watch him break tackle after tackle, and that's just wanting to get some yards. Great desire.
A senior walk-on from Independence, Missouri, Jim White. He caught a 54-yard pass against the Colorado Buffaloes a year ago. 3rd down, 7 yards to go. Keeper back to pass. Gets it on the wing to Stowers, shy of the 1st down, stays inbounds up to the 13-yard line, 1 yard shy of the 1st down. Richard Newell was there to make sure he didn't pick up that 1st down.
And again, we go back to bad shoots on a surface they should be used to. Stowers, had he been able to keep his feet, might have lunged forward for the 1st down. And that would have been a crucial 1st down, because obviously now you've got to punt into the wind again, and it looks like Miami will have excellent field position.
And for the 3rd time in this game, Plunkett is forced to punt from his own end zone. That one almost blocked. A good punt that time from Plunkett. Fair catch signal for, and the ball is hit by a Missouri defender and downed at the 35-yard line, but they're going to bring it back to the original contact, which was up near midfield at the 49. Erickson will come back on the attack for the Hurricane, and there's a flag on the punt. Let's hold everything.
Well, Missouri certainly has to hope this is not against them, because that's an excellent kick, and it is a flipping call against the Miami Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes have shot themselves in the foot a little bit here this afternoon with some untimely penalties. Are there any timely ones?
Not if they're on your team and you're the head coach.
This bird, I can't remember what they call it, that mascot.
The kicking team.
Flipping against the kicking team. No, they originally said it was against Miami. That one went against Missouri. This supposedly is during a hurricane. The last bird, now not this one in particular, but the replica of that bird.
Go ahead and get yourself out of this one.
Is the last bird to seek refuge in a hurricane and the first one out after the hurricane. That's why they have this mascot. Yeah, see how doing all this. Yeah,
I feel much better about that. I like his feet.
That came up on a test sometime in Trivial Pursuit, so you'll know now. I don't remember the name of the bird, though.
That thing could no more fly than you and I can.
That's true. 8:38 left to go here in the first half. Miami with a 14-7 lead. That surprises some folks. A lot of people figured that Miami would cruise in this contest. Penalty will be declined. It'll be 1st down for Miami. Interesting that Miami declines that penalty. They want their hands on the football, and now
38-yard punt.
Because that was an excellent punt
Miami takes over
from Plunkett.
10 from their 49.
So Erickson Erickson brings them up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the 49. Erickson just 9 of 19 so far this afternoon. Erickson on the give to Johnson around the near side. A pickup of about 7 on the play. Stopped by Adrian Jones at the 45-yard line of Missouri.
And although the Hurricanes employ 3 wide receivers in that particular play, good job blocking up front by Wesley Carroll. You'll see at the bottom of your screen, watch number 81. It's tough to see, but Carroll has secured the line of scrimmage. And, of course, a nice job up front also by Mike Sullivan, the big offensive tackle. Got to be able to run the ball, although Erickson, I'm sure, would be very content to throw the ball 60 times.
2nd and 4. Again, Johnson, nowhere to go. Lee Johnson on the stop. Lee Johnson stopping Alex Johnson. No gain. It'll be 3rd and 4. Maybe even a loss of a yard. We'll make it 3rd and 5.
Well, Lee Johnson's had a heck of a first half.
Lee and Mario both.
Now that we know what it is. Correct?
That's a Tiger.
Looks like he's listening to us.
And I'm not sure what a Tiger does in a hurricane. Probably runs. That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage and almost picked off again. Ted LePage has had his hands on the football twice.
Well, that time, that's one he should have come up with. The first one we can excuse him on not making a terrific catch. But LePage does a nice job of reading the zone coverage, and the eyes of Craig Erickson drive him back inside of Wesley Carroll. That baby hits him right in the numbers. And you can see the anguish on LePage because obviously big play, at least an opportunity for one.
Kalal again back to punt. And Benson back deep at his own 10-yard line. Kalal with a high kick. This one might sail into the end zone. It does. Just barely. Kalal almost got that one to stop on the 1-yard line. 7:16 left to go in the first half. 14-7 our score. The Hurricanes up, but by only 7. But Dave, they've been pinning the Missouri offense back in their own end pretty much this whole game.
Well, I think the story so far here in the first half has been the Missouri defense. Their ability to stop Miami when they've had to. They've hung in there, and they've allowed their offense a chance to play still in contention. Only 14-7 down, and certainly you've got to give a lot of credit to the Tiger defense, at least so far.
Next week on Prime Network, Kansas Jayhawks hosting the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll be there to bring it to you from Lawrence. It comes your way Saturday night at 12:30 Central, then again Sunday morning at 10 Central, right here on Prime Network. Ken Keefer having a rough day as far as this. Well, no, it's not a rough day. 5 of 8 for 81 yards. That big 67-yard pass play to Lindsey Collins for the touchdown. That's much of that 81 yards that he has thrown. 4 of the passes short. The one to Lindsey Collins, outstanding, where Collins was left wide open.
Bob Stoll, when he was at UTEP, really utilized the tight ends and the running backs in the passing game, and that's what Missouri would like to do, a ball control offense. It's different than Miami, obviously. They're one back, and they look for big plays constantly. Missouri looks to move the first down markers, continue to stay on the field, utilize the clock, and, of course, hopefully eventually score.
1st and 10 for the Tigers at the 20-yard line. Keeper fakes to Stowers. Now comes across the other way to Lithicum. Lithicum at the 30-yard line. Lithicum close to a first down. Maurice Crum stopped him there. Maurice Crum, a high school teammate of Dwight Gooden, the doc of the New York Mets.
Well, a good job by Keefer as he looks to the right. He'll stop that Miami defense for just a minute, and then Lithicum is just hooked to the outside. Kind of a standoff there. Are you coming or am I going? Good job of gaining yardage, and of course that's what Missouri again likes to do. Those short passes, 8-10 yards, they eat up that clock. They continue to stay on the field, and of course if they have success, they're going to gain a little bit of confidence.
Lithicum playing in the place of Tim Bruton, the outstanding tight end. We're not sure if Bruton is hurt, but Lithicum's been the guy making all the catches. White goes around, picks up a couple, and that's like a moral victory for this Tiger offense, and there's a flag on the play as well.
Yeah, this is going to go against Miami, I think.
There's Bruton. He's in the contest. Michael Barrow was the guy making the stop. football.
Well, when you have the reputation as being an aggressive defensive team and a team that sometimes will provoke the opponent, an officiating crew obviously is aware of that, and they're going to be a little more prone to make that call.
That moves the chains. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers.
Let's see if we can see it. You can see the lower left screen. There's a left cross to the chop. Shane Curry, the linebacker, delivers. Actually, Shane Curry's a defensive end who stands up sometimes, but you just can't take a whack at somebody when you're laying on the field, especially that late after the play.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Tigers from their own 48-yard line. Clock is moving with 6:12 to go in the first half. Tigers trail by 7. Keeper getting some pressure. Finds Bruton with a great catch. Bruton goes down on one knee inside Miami territory at the 43-yard line, just shy of the first down. Kenny Berry makes the stop.
Well, it's a nice catch for Bruton, but watch what happens to Keeper. Right after he delivers the football, he's hanging in there. Here comes the defense. He goes down. Bruton actually has the ball deflected and does a good enough job to hang in there. Russell Maryland doing a good job from his defensive lineman position, put the pressure on Keeper. But now if you're Missouri, see, you're in business. You can do a few more things. Bob Stoll's got to feel good. Now he can go into his bag of tricks. He can run anything in his offense from this field position.
Tigers no longer in the shadow of their own goalpost. 2nd and short. Keeper blindsided. He fell down as he was feeling pressure from the linebacker Maurice Crum coming on the blitz. So that big gain all goes for naught now. It's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
Brad Funk, the center, was trying to get out and actually block Maurice Crum, and that's a pretty tough assignment after you snap the football.
Obviously, Miami anticipating the pass, coming with the blitz on 2nd and short. Now it's 3rd and long, 3rd and 8, ball right at midfield. Keeper again to throw, has some time across the middle. First down. Damon Mays inside the 30 down to the 29.
Well, when they say right on the money, this is an indication of what they're talking about. Keeper, good protection. This thing is drilled. Damon Mays breaks inside of Crum and hits the football before the free safety can get to him. Good pass protection. That's where it starts. This is a bullet, and a good job by Mays getting down before Charles Farms can get to him, the free safety.
Keeper now 8 of 11 for 120 yards. An outstanding afternoon for the junior college transfer. Here comes Stowers behind a lead of blockers, but Miami comes up with their own line to stop it with no gain. Michael Barrow is one of the guys there defensively.
I think if you're going to run the football against Miami, it's got to be quick hitting plays. If you're going to run the counter tray, which that play was, it's really long in developing, and it gives those quick athletes up front of Miami a chance to react. You've got to hit them with traps. You've got to hit them with maybe straight ahead dives and just hope that your offensive guys can knock them off the ball.
Tough to get outside on this excellent speed of this Miami defense. 2nd and 10, ball still at the 29. Keeper again wants to throw. That one's picked off. He threw that one into traffic, and it's picked off by Bobby Harden, the strong safety. And now we're going to have a flag. I think they're going to have a personal foul called on Miami for a little showboating action. The flag came late. I think they're going to whistle Bobby Harden for showboat.
This is the same play that Keeper was successful on before. He just goes back to the well once too often. Harden does a good job, and you can see the intended receiver, Lindsey Collins, pretty well covered from the backside as well. And a good job by Harden from that safety position, dropping, getting good depth, and making the catch.
It'll be a 15-yard penalty against Miami. They'll push them back 15. It'll be 1st and 10 for them back at the 19 when we come back to Columbia in just a moment. Network here in Columbia. This absolutely a gorgeous day, and the people here at Faroe Faroe Field are really enjoying an outstanding football game between the second-ranked Miami Hurricanes and unranked Missouri of the Big 8 Conference.
Little picnic action on the hill.
And that penalty takes him back all the way to the 12-yard line with 3:23 to go. A personal foul called against the Hurricane. Bobby Harden intercepted a pass. As you see, the penalties stacking up against the Hurricane. Harden intercepted the pass, and then he showboated a little bit after he caught it. Erickson with the play action. Across the middle, he's got his receiver, Wesley Carroll, down the middle of the 40-yard line. A first down up to the 40. The stop made by Stacy Elliott and Ted LePage.
When you have 3 wide receivers in the game, Wesley Carroll usually will be the one in the slot. And that time, Missouri tried to cover him with Stacy Elliott. And you can see Erickson is locked on him all the way, waits for him to circle and clear Elliott. Carroll, of course, has great speed. Elliott, a pretty good athlete in his own right, but not able to cover a wide receiver step for step down the field.
Wesley Carroll only his second reception of the day. He's had an outstanding year already. A junior college transfer for the Hurricane. Erickson now getting smothered. Oh, it looked like Miami was there. Kevin White let him go. And now Conley with the football inside Missouri territory down to the 30. LePage finally got him. That was the play, Dave, where it looked like Missouri had him trapped behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, he had over 7 seconds to throw the ball. Good job by Erickson, who's big enough to make people miss. But Kevin White, you see, has a clean shot. And Erickson doing what great quarterbacks will do, making something happen out of a play that looks to be desperate right from the start. Leonard Conley with a nice catch and run. And Miami's a big play team. You've seen it the last couple of downs.
Erickson again back to throw. Clock nearing 2 minutes in the first half. Tipped away. Nice play from Otis Smith. Otis Smith, one of the outstanding cornerbacks for the University of Missouri. Pee-wee Smith got out. It looked like he was behind the Missouri defenders, but Otis Smith jumped way in the air to bat that one away.
Here we go. Here we go.
The Hurricane already in Huerta's field goal range. It would be about a 47-yarder. They want more than that, though, right here. Conley on the draw, stays on his feet after a pickup of about 4 on the play. Kevin White finally makes the stop. Darren McDonald looked to have him right at the line of scrimmage, but he got away.
McDonald's been the leading tackler for the Tigers the last couple of years. He's leading after 2 games. And he's had a couple of shots today that, because of the great athletic ability the Hurricanes have, he hasn't been able to come up with it. Conley doesn't look like he's able to break as many tackles as he does, and yet he's got great balance from that one-back set.
Miami on 3rd and 5 from the 25. Erickson has time again. Batted away. Nice defensive play by Harry Colin. Harry Colin, the second-string strong safety, makes one of the great defensive plays of the game.
He makes a good break on the ball. You'll see him arrive with that left hand out in front just as the ball is delivered to Wesley Carroll. That's an excellent defensive play.
Huerta on for a 42-yard field goal attempt. He missed the field goal earlier this afternoon. This one with the win. The hold is good. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So the Hurricane tack on 3 more. With 1:36 left to go in the first half. Miami now leads 17-7.
He looked like he wanted to make up for that miss because that thing landed about 15 yards out of the end zone, right directly through the upright.
So the Tigers with 1:36 left to go in the first half. We'll be interested to see what they try to do, down by 10. Those of you in the Rocky Mountain region can catch the Colorado State Rams in action against D. Dowis in the Air Force Falcons this coming Saturday, live at 11 Central, 12 o'clock Mountain. Drew Goodman, Tom Graham, and Steve Alvarez will be on hand to bring you that game this Saturday on Prime Sports Network, an affiliate of Prime Network. Huerta will kick off from his own 35. Huerta has been booting them short, even with the wind at his back. Sean Moore and Ronell Cahill back deep at their own 5-yard line. Waiting the kick of Carlos Huerta. Boy, here's a story. Huerta, a walk-on with the Miami Hurricane.
Huerta to kick off for Miami.
His uncle is a professor in the physics department at Miami. An excellent student, Carlos Huerta. 17-7 our score. The Hurricane up by 10.
His uncle ought to be able to figure out how to make that ball stand up on the tee then. that would be physics, would it not?
Yes. I guess. Huerta now has it placed the way he wants it. The wind blew it off just a moment ago. And here we go. Again, a short kick. Cahill has it at his own 5. He breaks loose to the outside. And out of bounds at the 32-yard line. An excellent return. Bobby Harden got it out of bounds. Ronell Cahill, a freshman redshirt out of Kansas City, Missouri.
And that return may have changed the thinking of Bob Stahl, who, had he not got good field position, might have very well gone in the locker room if allowed, down 10 to regroup. But now they've got a chance maybe to put some points on the board.
And all 3 timeouts to work with. Keeper on the draw play. That one's going to go nowhere because Keeper and Jim White ran into each other, and Cortez Kennedy and Michael Barrow were there waiting for him.
Well, the reason it happens, Cortez Kennedy, number 96, just takes number 51, Pete Scott, into the ball carrier. And Scott actually helped Kennedy make the tackle. And at 300 pounds, Cortez Kennedy is somebody that you've got to make sure you get blocked up front, especially when you run a draw.
Coming up this Saturday on the Prime Network, Pac-10 game of the week. See Washington at Arizona. Comes your way live at 7:30 Central Time. That's this Saturday on Prime Network.
That should be a good one.
Oh, I'll say.
Arizona coming off that big win over Oklahoma. And Washington's had a couple of big victories up in Seattle.
And you look at Washington next week. They'll stay home to take on the Colorado Buffaloes, a team that everybody expects to do big things in the Big 8 Conference. Colorado off to a fast 3-0 start. It's Miami that took the timeout. They want the football back. They think their defense can stop the Missouri offense. Keeper now audibleizing. Bruton moves closer into the line. Keeper wants to go long distance. That one's picked off. Picked off by Kenny Berry. He's coming back the other way and forced out of bounds by Damon Mays at the 44-yard line. Pass intended for Lindsey Collins on the wing, but Kenny Berry was there to pick it off.
Well, you're not going to run by Kenny Berry too many times. He was part of the 400-meter relay team with Miami in 1986. And although Lindsey Collins has great speed, Berry step for step with him and does a good job of catching the football. I wouldn't be the guy that I'd try to go deep on if I had my druthers.
So now Miami with 2 timeouts and 1:06 on the clock in the first half will try to pad to their 10-point lead. They do it by running the play, going out of bounds. Conley across midfield, a collision right at midfield. Conley goes out. Tom Reiner made sure he stayed there.
We said earlier that Missouri had some problems last week turning the football over in key situations against Indiana. That's their third of the first half. Unless you're a great team, excuse me, Dave, unless you're a great team, it's very, very tough to overcome turnovers.
Pick up 7 on the play. It's 2nd and 3. Ball inside Missouri territory. Erickson again looking to pass. Into his tight end Chudzinski down to the 40-yard line. Tom Reiner again on the stop. That's a first down for Miami. They'll stop the clock while they reset the chains. Miami right up on the line of scrimmage, set to run another play.
First down, Miami.
53 seconds to go in the first half, and now the clock is moving. Erickson Erickson with plenty of time. Dale Dawkins with the catch. He goes down to the 23-yard line. Darren McDonald finally got him down there. Again, they'll stop the clock while the chains are moved.
What this does is prevents any substitution defensively. You've got to go with the players you have in there, and basically you're stuck in a zone coverage because you can't change the man-to-man. You don't have the right personnel in the game, and sometimes you just can't make the call as quickly as Miami's getting up in the line.
Erickson again audibleizing, goes back to pass, has his receiver on the wing, and going out of bounds is Randall Hill. That stops the clock with 32 seconds to go. Miami still with 2 timeouts left. It'll bring up 2nd down and short, 2nd and 3.
Now crucial for Missouri to try to keep Miami out of the end zone. They're well within field goal range. Now with the clock being stopped, you can change a few things defensively. You certainly can change personnel, and you might want to change your coverage pattern as well.
Erickson now 15 of 27 for 220 yards. He's already thrown the ball 27 times, Dave. Erickson again back to pass, feeling some pressure. Gets it to Pee Wee Smith. Ted LePage is there to stop him. And that's going to stop the clock again. And now Erickson comes out hobbling. They'll move the chains with 25 seconds to go. And now Miami signals a timeout. Erickson looks to be hobbling just a little bit as he comes over to the sidelines to talk with Dennis Erickson, the head coach. I think Missouri came in defensively and we're putting some pressure on it. Somebody, I think, fell on his ankle.
Dennis Erickson trying to get Craig Erickson's attention. He was being talked to by the trainer, and Dennis Erickson motioned him away. Get away from him. He's fine. Wants to make sure that quarterback is listening to what they're talking about. He's aware of what's going on. You can see what Erickson has done in the first half. And to watch the game, you brought up an interesting point. It didn't seem like he'd thrown the ball as many times as he has, or he's been as proficient as he's been here in the first half. But that's the kind of offense Miami has. They just kind of keep chugging along. They look for the big play when it presents itself, and they're explosive, to say the least.
This is a team that's averaged over 40 points a game in their first 2 contests. Missouri's done a good job on them defensively, and they still have 17 points. Now Erickson trotting out back to the huddle.
He limped over to the sidelines. Dennis Erickson said, no, you are not talking to the trainer. He ran back out of the field.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Conley goes in motion. Whistle, and that might be a movement, or perhaps Mike Sullivan looked like he might have moved for the Miami Hurricane. Came back a little bit quickly. So that'll push him back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and goal, but now the ball back at the 13.
Here's a situation where I don't think Missouri can afford to sit back in the zone and rush 4 players. They've had some success when they've blitzed. They've brought the inside guys, McDonald and Reiner at times. But I don't think you can sit back and 7 players try to cover that much territory and allow Erickson a great deal of time to find an open receiver. This offense is too good at just getting guys to lay down in the zone areas, the uncovered areas, and there's not much territory to work with.
Legal procedure against the Miami Hurricane. 24 seconds to go. 1st and goal at the 13. Again, Miami has 2 timeouts left here in the first half, leading 17-7. Conley, the lone back, now he goes in motion. 3 wide receivers to the right. Erickson looks that way. Randall Hill hit as soon as he got his hands on the football by Adrian Jones. And now Miami takes another timeout. That will leave them with 1 timeout.
14 seconds to go. They obviously have time to get another play away before getting the field goal team on. So maybe you take a shot here at getting the football into the end zone. They've thrown the last 3 times underneath the zone coverage. Missouri rushing 3 players that time, dropping 8. Maybe here's where Dennis Erickson decides, hey, let's get the ball into the end zone. Let's take a whack at somebody catching it into the end zone, not get tackled in the field of play to force us to take that last time out.
You see how dominant the Hurricane have been. Interesting, too, in the 70s, Miami just 42 and 67, but in the 80s, they've been 90 and 19. You talk about a turnaround. And one of the advantages the Hurricane enjoy as well, Dave, they also enjoy the fact that they are in Miami, in Florida, a terrific state to recruit.
No question about it. You can see what they've done in the 80s. They're also 6-0 against the Big 8 teams in this decade. So they're usually good against teams that like to run the football. Of course, they've been good against just about everybody the last 3 or 4 years.
Ball down at the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. Erickson taking a crack at the end zone. Now he's scrambling. He wants to run it in, and he does. Erickson runs it in. He had all day there defensively was Stacy Elliott, but he couldn't get beyond the offensive lineman from Miami.
Again, look at the time he has, and that's what happens when you rush 3 guys. Not only do you have 8 in coverage, but you allow your quarterback to stand back there and decide what he wants to do, and then by the time you come up, there's not enough yardage to stop, and you see the touchdown run by Craig Erickson.
Worked again for the extra point with just 7 seconds to go in the first half. And again, Huerta is perfect. Huerta has yet to miss an extra point in his Miami career. That increases the Miami lead to 24-7. At one point, it was 7-all, but it's been all Miami since that time. And with the wind at their back, the Hurricane has certainly been a storm to contend with. And right now, the Tigers are looking for the eye of that storm.
Well, you see why the Miami defense was calling timeouts the last time. I like that. The eye of the storm. You'll think of something from Missouri, I'm sure, in the second half. Again, look how much time Craig Erickson has. You don't see anybody in a black jersey around him. So, well, I don't like what I see. Okay, I can move around. And Missouri, with 8 guys deep, there's not enough time to come up and stop a guy from running 5 or 6 yards. That's a good job by Craig Erickson, who's shown the athletic ability that some of his predecessors have not enjoyed. Big-time arm, and he's only going to get better this year, and, of course, next year his senior campaign.
Boy, Dave, how quickly can Miami move the football? 56 yards in 59 seconds. Wow, 7 plays they took as well. They really utilized the chains moving to stop the clock. They used only 2 of their timeouts. Erickson in a 6-yard run. Huerta with a low-line drive kick. That's taken at the 3-yard line. Up to the 25, and with 1 second to go, Missouri will come in and pretty much fall on the football, and that will be it for the first half. 1 more play to go. Maybe they'll try the long bomb. We'll see. Missouri with 1 tick on the clock in the first half, trailing 24-7. Ball at the 26-yard line. What would you do here? Just fall on it and go into the locker room and regroup?
I think that's what I'd do. Make sure you don't make another big mistake. You're down 17, and time to start thinking about what you can do in the second half.
No, keeper wants to throw. He airmails it. Goes long distance. Looking on the sideline, trying to find his intended receiver over there. Kenny Berry was there defensively to make the stop. So Kenny Berry breaks up the last play of the first half. And after the first half of play, the Miami Hurricanes have a 24-7 lead on Missouri. And we'll come back with our halftime festivities, including a talk with Don Farrow in just a moment.
Games, and even here in the first half, Ken Keefer, just with an ill-advised throw, doesn't get enough air under the ball as Tim Bruton was open, and Maurice Crum, the outstanding outside linebacker, steps in front, and he gets the first score of the game for the Hurricanes.
That made it 7-0, but then here come the Tigers, and what a pass play from Keefer to Lindsey Collins.
But this has been the only bright spot really offensively for Missouri the entire first half. Kerry Berry falls down, and you can see Lindsey Collins wide open, scampering into the end zone, 67 yards on that play, and the total offense for the Tigers right at 115 for the first half.
That made it 7-7, but after that, it was pretty much all Miami.
Shannon Crowell just does a good job of turning his shoulders right toward the hole, dives over, and from that point on, at least in the first half, Miami has not been headed.
Now Erickson with plenty of time to throw, and he threw the ball a lot in that first half. 29 times that he threw the ball. This time, though, with all that time, he ran it in.
Good job by Craig Erickson. Again, we've said how athletic he is. very, very good under fire, good composure. He's played well in the first half.
Statistically, here's how things stack up in the first half, and as you would expect with our score 24-7, it's pretty much all Miami.
Well, one of the keys we said at the top of the telecast, Missouri's inability in the first two games to run the football. Take a look at that, -4 yards rushing the ball, and it's something that they cannot deal with against a very good defensive team if you have to go back and throw the ball exclusively.
All right. And when we come back, it will be Missouri's ball. They deferred the first half kickoff, so they're going to get their hands on the football, and you know they're going to want to get the crowd back into it as soon as possible.
Well, important for Missouri to come out and try to establish something. They had one big play on offense, and other than that, Miami's done a great job of shutting them down. I'm sure Bob Stoll would like to come out with a good drive, putting some points on the board early.
All right, we'll come back with our second half kickoff in just a moment. Once again, Miami leading 24-7.
Marching Mizzou will be back.
In favor of the Miami Hurricane over the Missouri Tigers. I'm Dave Armstrong along with Dave Logan. So happy to have you along on Prime Network this weekend. And Carlos Huerta will kick off for the Miami Hurricane as we start the third quarter. Cahill has it at his 10. He dodges one tackler, gets it out to the 20, and that's it. He's swarmed under right at the 20-yard line. So the Tigers will start on offense from their own 20. Ken Keeper, the quarterback. Jim White, the halfback, with Tommy Stowers, the fullback. The two wideouts are Lindsey Collins and Damon Mays, and they can fly. There's Keeper in his junior year, and first half pretty good except for those interceptions, and that was really costly for the Tigers in that first half. I think he had 3 interceptions in the first half. He did. First and 10 from the 20. Keeper goes back, feeling some pressure from behind, gets it across the middle to Lindsey Collins. He goes down at the 40. A pickup of 20 on the play. So the Tigers come out firing.
Well, Lindsey Collins out of Bakersfield Junior College had 92 receptions the last couple of years. And here's one where had he been able to keep his feet, he may have very well gained an extra 10 to 15 yards. You expect to get hit when you go over the middle. That time, most receivers in a situation like that will come down without their feet because usually there's somebody in the other team very near.
Ball is at the 39-yard line. Keeper again with a short drop. Now we have a whistle on the play. There was some movement. We'll see what these flags are all about. To be a penalty, the early indication against the Tigers. It is. That's one thing that the Tigers certainly need to avoid to get back into things here in the second half. They're working into the wind here in the third quarter. As you take a look at the penalties, Miami has been penalized almost twice as much. Miami with the wind at their back trying to seal things here in this third quarter. Put it out of reach. And as Mays checks in. Excuse me, Dave.
Excuse me. As we said, this is an important drive for Missouri to try to get back into the football game. Get the team back in it, get the crowd back in it. Because after that first score, the 67-yard touchdown pass to Collins, it's been all Miami.
First and 15 from the 34. Keeper down the middle. Gets it to Damon Mays. He eludes one tackler, and he gets it up near midfield. Finally stopped there by Michael Barrow, but another flag on the play.
I think we're going to have roughing the passer as well, a dead ball foul, personal foul. Good job by Keeper. Watch this little move by Damon Mays. Misses Maurice Crum, who usually is a very good tackle. Good tackler. Good job by Keeper. He gets knocked down after the play, and it's tough to see. Great move by Mays, but they're going to call a personal foul against Miami, a dead ball foul, which will tack on 15 more yards.
On the defense, first down.
Tack on 15 more, and now the Tigers down in Miami territory to the 37. I'm not counting, but I think that's the third or fourth personal foul on the Hurricane. Bob Stoll in his first year from the University of Texas, El Paso, the head coach of the Missouri Tigers. He inherits a program over the last several years coached by Woody Woodenhofer, who has moved back into the NFL. Now from the the shotgun formation. 1st and 10 from the 37. Keeper with a deep drop. The screen pass. A flag on the play. Stowers goes down inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line. Kenny Berry and Bobby Harden finally got him, but we have a flag.
It's going to come back, too. They've got offensive holding on the lineman. It's the same play that they tried to use initially. This is going to be a shuttle pass to Stowers. Not open, so he waits for the defense to come and almost turns into a screen. But you can see the flag on the right-hand side of the screen. Stowers with a nice run. Both of his runs, at least the best runs he's had today, have been called back.
On the offense, 1st down.
Big play negated by the offensive hold for the Tigers. That's going to bring up a 1st down and 20 back at the 47-yard line.
It's bad enough to be penalized, but when you have as many problems as the Tigers this afternoon moving the ball, it's just a killer.
That's like a 30-yard penalty because the ball would have been at the 16. Keeper again on the deep drop. Goes down the middle. That one almost picked off and is. Wow, it was tipped by Michael Barrow, and Roland Smith got it. But there's another flag on the play.
Well, you take a look at what Damon Mays sees behind the linebackers, and a good job of dropping. You can see Barrow with the tip, Roland Smith with the interception. The play will stand. That's just an excellent job of those inside linebackers, in this case an outside guy, getting enough depth to throw off the crossing route.
Penalty holding against Missouri declined, and Miami comes on the attack for the first time here in the 2nd half. Craig Erickson's numbers from the 1st half. The give is to Conley. Conley around the far side picks up about 4 or 5 or 6 on the play. Up to the 35, Ted LePage comes up from his strong safety position to make the stop. Anytime your strong safeties, Dave, are making the stops on a running play, you know it's a big gainer.
They've had to do that most of the afternoon. Miami very, very balanced this afternoon. That's what they try to do. Of course, they haven't had as many rushing yards this year so far as passing yardage, but they do have the ability when they need to run.
2nd and 3, Conley again. Oh, big hole. Conley with one man to beat, but he can't. Leon Fisher held his ground and stopped him, but not before. Conley with a big play down inside Missouri territory to the 47.
Let's take a look at that previous interception by Kiefer. He's got pretty good protection, but he eyeballs Damon Mays all the way. Watch him trying to just lob the ball over the linebackers. And you've got linebackers 18 to 20 yards deep, and just a good job that time by Michael Barrow, the freshman linebacker, of tipping the ball. Nice catch by Roland Smith, the corner.
It's the old tip drill. Erickson again. He's had pretty good time, but now an interception. Ted LePage picks it off. He's had his hands on the football 3 times, and he finally got one.
Well, he also had a touchdown and been able to keep his feet. And a collective groan from the 50 or so thousand people at Faroe Field. This is just a bad throw by Craig Erickson. Underthrows it. Can he stand up right there? He can go untouched down the sideline. Nice job of catching the football. But that's one that when he sees again, he'll wish he could have kept those feet.
After having 4 picked off last week against California, that's Erickson's 1st interception. So Missouri back on the attack. 1st and 10 from the 40. And keeper audibilizing. Looking over to the near sideline. Pass intended for Michael Jones, incomplete.
They teach you very early, you can't run with it until you catch it. Michael Jones, who has not had a lot of playing time this year after playing extensively last year, just so anxious to turn upfield. And good job of audibilizing by keeper on the blitz. Jones breaks outside and could have gained some yardage, but just couldn't come up with a handle.
Keeper now 10 of 18 with 4 interceptions and 154 yards on the day. Keeper again standing in the pocket. Finds Stowers. Stowers slips, tumbles, gets up to the 46. A gain of about 7 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 3. Michael Barrow stops him. My thanks to our spotter, Brian Nooner, and our statistician for the afternoon, Tex Little.
Who have had quick hands and kept our sheets from blowing out the windows.
A windy afternoon in Columbia, but a delightful day. The sun is shining. Third down and 4 yards to go for the Tigers. From their own 46. A long count. Keeper across the middle. Bruton! Bruton took that one away from the defender and gets inside Miami territory down to the 40. Roland Smith finally stops him there.
Good job by Bruton going down and catching the football. Actually gets his body in between the defender and the football. Now watch what he does. He'll find the open seam, hook up. Watch him go down. That's a terrific job of getting inside. The Miami player could not come back. Darren Smith, the linebacker, closed on the football, but Tim Bruton, a very important part of this Tiger offense.
8 catches in the first game, an opening win over Texas Christian. No catches against Indiana last week. Keeper gets rid of it, out of bounds. Intended receiver Stowers on the far side. Greg Mark was the guy that really put the hammer down on Kent Keefer.
He got hit pretty good from the backside, and that's one thing in press box that you start to look out, because you can see what's starting to develop, and Keeper couldn't get rid of the football quick enough to avoid a hit by Greg Mark.
And Keeper's numbers today, the big play, the 67-yard touchdown pass to Lindsey Collins. It's been Missouri's only score, and the first touchdown scored on Miami in 3 games. Keeper puts it up again. Lindsey Collins slipped down. Collins looked to have it at the 24, but he couldn't keep his footing. We've had problems with that here this afternoon.
The keeper had to throw that football just a little bit sooner than he wanted to. Pretty good pressure up front by Miami. Collins couldn't come out of the break as cleanly as he has in some routes this afternoon, and that could have been a big play for Missouri.
So it's 3rd and 10 from the 40-yard line. Keeper again. Long snap from center. Here comes the blitz. They're ready perfectly. Stowers has it. Can he get enough for the first down? Not quite. He's forced out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Now a decision time for Bob Stoll. Canterbury forced him out.
Oh, he's got to go for it. I don't think it's a decision right here at all. Down 24-7 with pretty good field position. It's going to be a long field goal attempt. I think you've got to go for the first down.
Bob Stoll says, let's go for it. 4th down and 3 yards to go at the 34. They need to get just past the 31-yard line.
And they've got a long snap count, and they've got the discipline to hang in there while Keeper executes it. Here's a pretty good opportunity to try to draw Miami off sides.
Keeper again in the shotgun formation. Stowers, he's got it. Inside the 30, down to the 29. So the courage paid off for the Tigers.
I'll tell you what makes this play. It's a nice catch. But watch the move Tommy Stowers puts on Darren Smith to get the first down. That's a terrific move, stopping right when he catches the football. Smith anticipates you continuing to run, ducks up inside for the first down. Good play by Tommy Stowers.
Stowers now with 4 catches for 21 yards, and that was a big one. Keeps the drive alive for the Tigers at the 29. Stowers now on the draw play, runs into some traffic, carries a couple of Hurricanes with him for a pickup of a couple on the play. Cortez Kennedy and Greg Mark on his back.
You know, Stowers had more yardage running last year than any Big 8 fullback, but he's a slow starter. He's a big guy, about 225 pounds, and he is not a guy that starts quickly. It takes him a while to get those long legs moving. Maybe not the guy to run that isolated draw to, but they don't have great speed in the backfield, these guys that play for Missouri.
Stowers with 64 yards rushing today would move into 7th place in the all-time Missouri League for rushing. Keeper from the blind side, Mark fumble. Miami has recovered. Greg Mark came up from his defensive end position and absolutely lowered the boom on Kent Keeper. Willis Pegues was the guy that fell on it for the Hurricane.
I think Keeper knows what's coming, but nobody touches Greg Mark. And that's just a quarterback left with his backside unprotected. And I guess the good news with that play, Keeper got up and walked off the side. Got to block that backside, especially with a guy like Greg Mark, who's an All-American candidate.
Keeper never felt him coming. Now Missouri, a team we said couldn't turn it over, has done so 5 times. Nothing much doing there. Lee Johnson and Mario Johnson, the Johnson brothers, stuff it right there. A pickup of a couple. That's it. .25 left to go here in the third quarter. 24-7 our score. Miami with the lead. This game was tied 7-all. It's been all Miami since then. Erickson with a long count. Erickson avoids the rush once, but not twice. Lee Johnson gets it. Kevin White also in on the pressure, along with Stacy Elliott.
Good job of rushing the passer. You can see Missouri bringing their linebackers. Fletcher from one side. Johnson gets to him from the inside rush. The Tigers that time doing a good job of something that they haven't had great success in doing. That's pressuring Erickson. Erickson had over 5 seconds to throw the ball. You can call that a coverage sack if you'd like.
That's the first sack allowed by the offensive line in this game, but 6 so far this year. Only 5 all of last year for Walsh. Erickson from behind, a great defensive play. Cordell McKinney. He had wraps on Randall Hill, the intended receiver.
This is a good throw by Erickson again in the face of pretty good pressure. Delivers the football on the money. Randall Hill makes the mistake of allowing the ball to play him, trying to catch the football into the pads. Cordell McKinney with a nice job of closing on the throw.
Grace Benson back to get the punt of Tim Kalal. Kalal with the wind at his back. Benson way back at his own 25-yard line. That one partially blocked at the line of scrimmage. Now will take a Miami bounce, though, and this will turn out good for the Hurricanes. It'll go all the way down to the 27-yard line. Otis Smith got a hand on it for the Tigers, but believe it or not, after a block, that punt goes all the way down inside the 25 to the 24. We're going to step aside with 8:01 left to go in the third quarter. Miami leading 24-7.
Let's see if he actually does touch the football. It looked like he did. The official actually did not give the sign where the ball had been tipped, but Missouri going after the punter, they felt like they could block the punt coming into today's contest.
After it hits, watch how far it bounces after the football hits.
Tough to see again. Punters have an awareness of a rush like that. You can see a good job of shortening the leg stroke, trying to get that ball elevated as quickly as possible. Smith very close.
Smith a little bit upset that he didn't get more of the ball. Clark is okay. That's the middle linebacker, Bernard Clark, Tiger Clark. He is okay. They say he will just sit out the rest of this day, but he'll be okay after that. Lithicum catches it and then falls down. Lithicum got it. It was a little off balance. Looked like a sniper got him at the 30-yard line.
And got him going the wrong way. Could have caught that ball and made some yardage.
But it's a pickup of 6 on the play. It brings up 2nd and 4 at the 30. You got to feel like if Missouri can hang on with Miami here in the third quarter, they get the wind at their back in the fourth. Jim White, both hands on the football, goes up into the line in the middle, and they're starting to run it right up the gut like you were talking about earlier in the first half.
Well, again, when you play a defense that has as much quickness as Miami does, you got to make sure that you give your guys a chance to succeed. And I think any play that takes a long time developing allows that quickness and athletic ability the Hurricanes have to take over. Missouri now in a situation where if they're able to move the football, it will be because of the offensive line doing a great job. Miami realizes that the Tigers haven't been able to run, and they pretty much turned into a passing team only.
Usually been 3rd and long. This one 3rd and short, though. Again, White goes into the line, and it's going to be close. He got up close to the 35. Now 6 first downs for the Tigers. Team that's been only giving up 5 per game for the first 2. Keeper looking for Lithicum again, incomplete. It wouldn't have been for much anyway. Maurice Crum was over there to make sure that Lithicum didn't have much room to run. Pass incomplete.
And Greg Mark all over Kiefer on the fake boot, trying to get that tight end to slip out into the flat. Greg Mark, defensive end, he's played some defensive tackle. But again, he has what the rest of his teammates have defensively. Great quickness, 244 pounds. Some think that when he gets into the National Football League after this year, he might very well be an outside linebacker.
A 5th-year senior in grad school at Miami. He's already got his bachelor's degree. From the shotgun, Kiefer again wants to go long distance to Lindsey Collins. Across midfield down to the 44-yard line. Bobby Harden and Charles Barnes stopped him there, but another first down for the Tigers.
This is basically the same throw that Kiefer made the last series. He threw an interception. This time he gets the ball up and over the linebackers, as you can see. And here's Lindsey Collins. He got enough depth on the crossing route that made it impossible for those linebackers to get back and stop the throw. Good toss by Ken Kiefer.
Dave, I've been pretty impressed with how much time the Tigers have had to throw the football. There's Michael Barrow, the backup to Bernard Clark, who went down in the first half. Now Barrow is down. We'll just have to see who they move into the middle linebacker position.
And that was one of the linebackers trying to gain enough depth to take that crossing route away. I don't think he got touched. I think it looked like he got his foot caught on the turf, which of course a lot of players do when they play on this synthetic surface. But you're right about the pass protection. And again, you have to give Missouri's line a lot of credit because it's been quite clear that they have been unable to sustain any running game, which makes it that much tougher to pass block against this defense.
Lindsey Collins' statistics are impressive today. 3 catches, 108 yards, and that touchdown. Boy, he's had an afternoon for the Tigers. 1st and 10 for Missouri at the Miami 44. Keeper again with time. Goes to the near sideline. A one-hopper, incomplete. Pass intended for Bouton. There's a flag on the play in the Missouri backfield. The Hurricanes are clapping, so obviously it's going to be something, a holding call. Another big penalty to stall this Tiger offense.
And again, not to be redundant, but it's tough for an offensive line when you can't throw the ball at all. You can see as Miami starts to close in, and that was Russell Maryland, who is at 270 pounds, one of the best athletes in the defensive front.
5:49 left to go, 3rd quarter, 24-7 our score. The Hurricane leading by 17. 10-yard penalty walked off. It'll be 1st and 20 back inside Missouri territory at the 46.
Now you want to try to get half of it back so that you're operable on 2nd down. You don't have to go for the entire part.
Blitz coming, and Damon Mays has the football. Who is he hit? Bobby Harden really smacked him good. But the Tigers read the blitz, and they pick up about 10 on the play.
Well, this is a set play, and again, it's off the shuttle series. It's actually a screen to the wide receiver. On a side adjustment, you see the blitz, you come inside. I don't think David Mays sees Bobby Harden. I can guarantee you he didn't see number 39 until he was flat on his back. That's a well-designed play. You get that wide receiver to be on the same page as the quarterback. You see the blitz, you break the route, duck behind the offensive line, and away we go.
Damon Mays probably still shaking at the cobwebs. It's 2nd and 11. Again inside Miami territory at the 45-yard line. Backs are split.
Audible.
And the blitz is coming. A catch by Collins. No, a catch by Skip Leach, a converted quarterback. He was in the flex bone. He was a quarterback. There's a penalty flag in the play. Roland Smith got him there, but Skip Leach comes in to make his first grab of the day. And this one also against the Tigers.
I'll tell you what happened. Ken Kiefer shifted a couple of players around, and they didn't get set before. And you can see Maryland and the linebacker arrive at the same time. Pretty good catch by Skip Leach, who then tries to take off. Smith saying, not today, but
penalties really starting to catch up with the Tigers now. 62 yards in penalties, and Bob Stoll's not happy about the call.
He's probably not happy with that pass protection on that particular play, as Russell Maryland and Darren Smith arrived simultaneously and met at the quarterback, as they say defensively.
Well, a 5-yard penalty. It'll bring up 2nd and 16 now, right at midfield at the 50-yard line. Darren Smith has gone in to play middle linebacker for the injured Michael Barrow for Miami. 2nd and 16 from the 50. Kiefer feeling the pressure again. This time he is sacked. Cortez Kennedy got him. And Cortez Kennedy celebrates.
And the fans in Columbia react to the celebration. Kind of a scary thought to see a guy this big move this well. Cortez Kennedy at 300 pounds. And you can see as he just gets Kiefer down, blowing by Pete Scott, who's trying to block him. They probably practiced that dance too. They need a choreographer. Although they really are quite good.
Yeah, I don't know if they do. 3rd and long, 3rd and 25 for the Tigers. Whoa, that one snapped way over the head of Kiefer. There's a race for the football. Kiefer smothers it, but way back at his own 9-yard line. Greg Mark was right there in a foot race with Kent Kiefer. Kiefer fell on it, but a bad snap from center.
Well, you want a true test on a guy's ability and his speed in a 40-yard dash. Time a quarterback when the ball snapped over his head. Kiefer running for all he's worth, takes a look back, decides to fall on the ball, which is the smart thing to do. And at worst, you give your team a chance to line up and punt the football instead of try to pick it up and make something happen.
Plunkett's in familiar territory, punting from his own end zone.
In punt formation for Missouri.
This one a kick that will die into the wind and go way out of bounds. He shanked that one out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. They're going to bring it all the way back up to the 29-yard line of Missouri. Only a 20-yard punt. And we're going to step aside with 2:58 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Miami leading 24-7.
19-yard punt.
Erickson wants to get it all right now. His pass intended on the far side and incomplete for Randall Hill. Cordell McKinney again there defensively, step for step, stride for stride with Randall Hill.
One thing about Miami, if you've watched the Hurricanes over the last 4 or 5 years, you are aware of the fact they're never content with a lead. 24-7, 44-7. They still do what they do best, and that's continue to be aggressive offensively.
Erickson now hitting 50% of his passes, 16 for 32 with 1 interception and 236 yards. He's also run a touchdown in. That one to his tight end, Chudzinski. Fumbled the football, and Missouri has it. Missouri has the football. Chudzinski dropped it as he went down, and the Tigers go on offense. Coming down with it, Harry Colin. Adrian Jones was the guy that hit him hard.
Well, Chudzinski's had a good day catching the ball. One official called him down. You can see the pop there. Jones, and the ball is loose, as well as Ted LePage coming in from the free safety spot. Dennis Erickson's a guy that doesn't like to see a lot of turnovers, but he, right on the bat, saying, let's get the defense out in the field.
That's the second Miami turnover, 1 fumble and 1 interception. So Missouri gets a break with 2:46 left to go in the 3rd quarter. They come back on offense, pinned back at their 16-yard line, but they're just glad to have their hands in the football. Lefticum has it. He runs with it, runs into a whole host of Hurricanes at the 25-yard line. Well, you can hear the pads popping up here. Jesse Armstead, one of the highly recruited athletes out of Dallas, Texas, makes the stop. The freshman, a true freshman, making the stop for Miami.
Well, he does make the stop, and this is called bringing the bone if you're a linebacker. Watch Jesse Armstead with the right hand come across the collarbone, it looked like, of Lithicum, and that play's been successful 3 or 4 times with the weak side tied in, just going out about 8 yards and hooking up.
2nd and 2 from the 25-yard line. Stowers has it, and up for the first down. They'll move the chains. Russell Maryland wrapped him up, but not before. Stowers picks up another Missouri first down. That's their 7th first down of the game. The reason we chronicle that is Miami's defense has only given up until this game 10 first downs the entire year. Pete Scott looks to be hobbling for the Tigers. He came into this game with an injury. He was questionable before the contest. Scott stays in. First and 10 from the 27. Keeper going back to throw on almost every play. That time intended for his halfback out of the backfield, Jim White, but there's another flag on the play. Holding against Missouri. Another penalty against the Tigers. Seems like about every call has gone against Missouri in this half.
Well, you can have the best offensive line in the world, and you can have a line that's used to pass blocking almost all the time, as we hear the call. But when they're forced into a pass situation and everybody in the house knows it, it's a pretty tough assignment. And that's what happens when you can't run the football at all. That's something that Bob Stoll is going to have to address, and I know he's aware of, but this is the 3rd game, and the running game has really sputtered for Missouri this year.
Missouri again in the transition period, going from the flex bone into a different formation offensively. Jim White, not much on 1st and 20, goes up to the 20-yard line. A pickup of a couple. Michael Barrow back in defensively for Miami, makes the stop.
Now let's figure what that play is.
That's Mark Ramstack, a freshman quarterback that they might be trying to redshirt here at Missouri.
No pun intended, as he stands on the sideline with his red shirt on. Yeah. That's so obviously Ken Keeper can pick him out amongst the black jerseys.
Batted away right up at the line of scrimmage by Russell Maryland. He got his 6'2" frame in the way.
Boy, is he quick. I mean, he gets to Kent Keeper. Watch from the right-hand side of your screen, number 67. Watch how quickly he arrives. Keeper back in a 5-step drop. Maryland's already in the air. I mean, he almost literally beat Keeper back to the 5th step.
And Dave, you know what's funny about it? Not very many schools recruited Russell Maryland out of Chicago. He weighed over 300 pounds when he got to Miami. Now he's down to 265.
This shows you what perseverance can do. Nobody recruited the kid at all, I think, except Indiana State. Now he's playing for a nationally ranked football team.
And perhaps an All-America candidate for Miami. Keeper with time. Oh! What a stick by Kenny Berry. Tim Bruton really got stuck.
Well, this is one as an old former receiver you hate to see, but you can see this one a mile away. Bruton is running across the field, does not see Berry, who is simply waiting for Tim Bruton, and this is the old helmet to the sternum greeting. Let's hope that just the wind has been knocked out of Tim Bruton. Now, Bruton's 245 pounds.
Dave, give us an idea. What does that feel like?
Well, if I threw you out of this press box, I think the feeling would be similar.
Please don't.
Because that's one where you got a guy just sitting, waiting. He sees you coming. He knows where the ball is. You get a perfect shot at a receiver like this. Kiefer looking for Bruton all the way. But Bruton does not see Kenny Berry. And I mean, this is what you call a major headache. Oh, he gets one right in the middle of the sternum.
Now, what does Kiefer do when he throws a play like that? He sits there and goes, oh, my, that hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't complete. That's what he's upset about.
Didn't hurt quite as badly as the tight end, but
Bob Stoll worried about his All-America candidate, Tim Bruton, outstanding tight end.
You ask yourself what the corner was doing there, Kenny Berry. In his own defense, he had simply stopped 7 or 8 yards. He chucks the wide receiver, and he reads that cornerback. And then, of course, with the bootleg action to one side, the first thing he looks for is crossing routes. He looks for that tight end or the wide receiver coming across. And obviously he found it.
Berton being helped to his feet now. Looks like he's going to be okay. Looked to be just the wind knocked out of his sails. Prime Network brings you exclusive coverage of Big 8 football this fall. You'll see Oklahoma versus Kansas, Missouri against Colorado, Nebraska versus Oklahoma State, just to name a few. Catch all the action of Big 8 football this fall on Prime Network.
Looks like he got his flak jacket knocked off for a second. Those kidney protectors.
Mark Plunkett will punt from his own 5-yard line. Back deep to get it is Pee Wee Smith. Plunkett's last punt only 19 yards. This one a low punt into the wind, much better. Smith has it. He drops it and then he falls on it. He paid for that. Pee Wee Smith fell on his own fumble. And Miami will go on the attack starting at their own 37-yard line. No scoring in this third quarter.
Yeah, much better kick this time. And Pee Wee Smith, very dangerous return man. He's got to catch the ball to start, of course, and good job there just falling on it. Takes a couple of pops while on the ground. Referee has to decide there if there's still some way that the ball might still be loose, because you can't hit a guy, obviously, when he's down on the field.
Don't forget, next week on Prime Network, Kansas Jayhawks host the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll be there in Lawrence to bring you all the action. Comes your way Saturday night, 12:30 Central, then again Sunday morning at 10 o'clock Central, right here on Prime Network. Have you ever returned punts?
Yes, I did in college.
And
matter of fact,
how does the ball come to you differently than I would assume that it comes from a quarterback?
Well, at times it come down like a knuckleball. The thing you want to do, obviously, is focus your attention on catching the ball. That can be difficult because you've got 10 guys running down that are trying to hand you your head.
What's your attitude? Are you trying to fair catch, or you want to get it and go?
Most guys want to get it and go, and of course I like to fair catch myself, but I'm a little bit smarter than most and quite slower than most.
That's why you're in the booth. You're smart.
That's not a job for the weak of heart, to say the least.
Erickson, I think you'll be pretty happy with those numbers so far. 17 of 33, almost 250 yards. 37-yard line is where the Hurricanes start this time. Erickson again with time across the middle. No problem there. The pass caught. Leonard Conley comes out from his halfback position.
That's what makes Conley such a very good player. You can line him up with a one-back and featuring. You send him in motion down to the bottom of the screen. He delays, waits for the zone to move back, and then he just dips underneath. Conley had 26 receptions last year for over 400 yards, almost 500 yards rushing. Very durable back. Fumbles the ball a little bit too much, but certainly a good one for Miami.
Conley this time in motion. Harrison looking for him on the wing, but he was covered there. Now Erickson unloads it across the middle. The pass caught by Wesley Carroll, but Harry Colin was right there defensively.
Looked like Harry Colin might have got there a little bit too early. Here's Wesley Carroll, the big wide receiver, coming back to the ball, which is what good receivers do. Let's see if Colin actually creates contact. Very close. Nice catch by Carroll.
So as a wide receiver, you make your cut, then you look and you see the quarterback in trouble, then what?
Got to come back to him. Got to present a target, and that time Carroll did a nice job of it.
All right, the end of the third quarter, 15 minutes to go. Our score still Miami 24, Missouri 7. Second down, 3 yards to go from the 41. Miami now going into the wind here in the fourth quarter. Conley trying to get outside. And the Tigers are there. Nowhere to go for Conley. He's snuffed at the 40 by Kevin White and Mike Ringenberg. And now Ringenberg is down on the turf. He looks to be injured. Mike Ringenberg out of Manhattan, Kansas.
There's a guy they can ill afford to lose. Probably the best athlete of any of the linebackers. Tall, rangy guy that plays the outside spot. Did a good job of forcing Conley to turn back inside. And Missouri, like most teams that struggle every week, they're not real deep. They have pretty good players that play every play, but If you lose those starters, that really hurts.
Bob Stoll concerned with his red shirt freshman. Mike Ringenberg down on the turf. 14:45 left to go. You know, they're talking about the red shirt freshman, and they're talking about in college sports of making the freshmen ineligible. They're going to start that move in college basketball perhaps as early as 1991. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's tough for a youngster to come out of high school and jump right into the college arena, so to speak, and try to play basketball or football, whatever sport it might be, and then just get himself socially acclimated, so to speak. I would be in favor of letting freshmen stay out and get themselves used to what the change may be.
No surprise in the time of possession, Miami dominating. And now we have a whistle and a flag down. Randall Hill talking with the official as if what happened. It's a dead ball foul. Legal procedure called against Miami.
Well, they had to have a shift, a double shift of sorts, to make that call. Usually the call is made after the ball snap.
So that makes it 3rd and long now. Back at the 45-yard line will be 3rd and 8 for the Hurricane. Goes the other way. He has his receiver good enough for the first down. Wesley Carroll with a catch. Maurice Benson on the stop.
Miami changing up a bit. You'll see man-to-man coverage with Benson inside. Carroll doing a nice job of avoiding contact, which is what good receivers have to do in a man-to-man situation. Don't let that corner get his hands on you. If he does, don't let him disrupt the route. And Carroll, with a nice arm over move, swim move, got to the outside and broke through.
Just enough for the first down at the 35-yard line. Again, the fake to Crowell. Now across the middle behind Szydzinski.
It's one of the few bad throws that Erickson has made. Pretty good pressure up front by Lee Johnson.
This wing might be getting tired, Dave. He's thrown the ball 37 times this afternoon.
Well, I would believe that he better get used to it, because he's going to be throwing the football quite a bit in one-back offense with Dennis Erickson.
Is this a wide receiver's dream, the one-back offense?
Well, not necessarily the one-back offense, but it certainly is to play in a system where you know you're going to get a lot of playing time and a lot of opportunities. They get some of the best receivers in the country yearly.
Receivers come to the left, and going up the middle was Alex Johnson going nowhere. Lee Johnson got him along with Darren McDonald. Boy, Johnson looks ferocious with that dark visor, doesn't he?
Plenty of Johnsons. Got Johnsons everywhere. From me and Mario on the defense. We've got a Johnson in the offense. Tiger defense has played reasonably well. We say reasonably because they gave up over 340 yards in the first half, but yet they've hung in there, 17 points down, and they're playing against a gifted offensive unit.
You figure 17 of those points came by the offense, but 7 of those were credited to the defense. Erickson with time. That one looked like it skipped in. Randall Hill got it on one hop. Incomplete. That brings up 4th down, and now we'll see it's Kalal will come into punt, and Erickson's really upset with himself.
Well, you can credit that throw to a great pass rush, and Erickson, when he takes the step, could not step all the way through with that left leg. Therefore, the pass was short.
Kalal, a very consistent punter, and he is deadly accurate as well.
What do you want to bet Kalal will not punt 5 times in a game more than once for the remainder of the season?
That one almost blocked. He got it up high, therefore the fair catch. Maurice Benson. He's got it there, and the Tigers come with a wind at their back at the 15-yard line. Kent Keefer, the quarterback of the Missouri Tigers. He's had an excellent afternoon, except for the interceptions. A 23-yard punt is all for Kalal. Those of you in the Rocky Mountain region can catch the Colorado State Rams in action against the Air Force Falcons this coming Saturday, live at 11 Central, 12 o'clock Mountain. Drew Goodman, Tom Graham, and Steve Alvarez will be on hand to bring you that one this Saturday on Prime Sports Network, an affiliate of Prime Network. Man trying to kick things up here in Columbia.
I think in the second half, they've been rather pleased with the way the Tigers have been able to hang in there, especially defensively. And now's the time if Bob Stahl has any tricks up his sleeve, even in a field position where you usually don't want to do those kind of things. They need to get some sort of score, and rather quickly if they'd had their druthers, down 17 points with a little over 13 minutes to go.
The one score they got, because a cornerback fell, Lindsey Collins was left wide open. He had to come back for the football, and then he had a race to the end zone wide open. Take a look at the Missouri sidelines, see what they have up their sleeve as we get things underway here with Missouri the ball at the 15. Over 43,000 on hand here in Columbia this afternoon. Good play that time by Kiefer as he looked off one receiver, went the other way, and a nice run by Michael Jones. Jesse Armstead finally got him out of bounds. But Michael Jones picked up about 5 more after he caught the ball.
Good job of Kiefer not finding anybody. Goes right to Jones, and Jones is about 215 pounds and big enough that he can shake people off. Good stiff arm there. Breaks to the sideline. 2 good things. First down, and it stops the clock.
Yeah, if you're Missouri, you want to have a very favorable clock from here on in. You want that clock to run very slowly for you. Ball at the 27, first down, a delayed draw play. And it didn't go very far. Russell Maryland and Greg Marks stuffed it. Stowers didn't go very far on that play. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, maybe one. Now there's another flag on the play. Jimmy Jones, one of the defensive tackles on the Miami Hurricane, is down. Jones, one of those guys that the Miami people really thought would be an All-American candidate, and here he is playing second string behind Cortez Kennedy.
Speaks favorably on the depth of the Hurricane.
Well, I'll say.
The official picked the flag up, and I don't know exactly what he's decided to do as they attend to Jimmy Jones.
You wonder, too, the thinking of Miami. I'm sure coming in here to Columbia, they were hoping that this would be a very easy game for them as they have to go to Michigan State next week and play the Spartans. And you were probably thinking, they were probably thinking to themselves, hey, we're going to win this one easy. We'll give our first string a chance to rest a little bit here today, especially defensively. That has not been the case, though. Missouri's taken it to them all afternoon.
They played real well. And I think Miami enjoys playing on the road. They may have started that feeling back in '83 when they beat Florida State 17-16 in Tallahassee. And that was under Howard Schnellenberger. The next year, Jimmy Johnson takes over and goes 8-5. Of course, loses that great game to Boston College, the Doug Flutie to Phelan catch.
Talked about the rushing of Missouri. Now, that includes quarterback sacks, so that statistic a little bit misleading perhaps, but certainly the rushing attack has not been there today for the Tigers. Tigers pick it up, and then Damon Mays drops the football. A little bit behind him. That brings up 3rd and 10 back at the 28-yard line. Stops the clock with 12:28 left to go in the ball game. And Missouri down by 17. Boy, what a tough schedule for the Tigers. Next week at Arizona State, then at Colorado, then back home to face the Cornhuskers. 4 games in a row, really tough on Stull's schedule. Kiefer avoids the rush. Now he's got his intended receiver, Skip Leach, at midfield, but there's a flag in the backfield of Missouri. If this is holding again, listen to the crowd. It is. Holding against the Tigers, and it all comes back.
Well, again, a tough day at the office for the offensive line when you've got a block, and you can see that the left side of the offensive line with an arm around the Hurricane defender's throat. No way in the world that you can call anything but holding in that play.
Offense. 3rd down.
That really nullifies a fine throw by Kiefer. An offensive lineman will tell you almost invariably we'd rather run the football than throw it, even on passing teams. Because if you have to throw every down, the defensive line really sets the tempo. You can never come off and really deliver a blow. You're always catching guys. You're backing up. You're trying to pass protect, and it just makes it doubly tough if you can't run the football even a little bit.
So now it's going to be 3rd down and 20 yards to go. Ball back at the 17-yard line. Kiefer and a little screenplay to Stowers. It looked like it was going nowhere. They get all the way up to the 30-yard line, but that's going to be about 7 yards shy of a first down. Michael Barrow and Darren Smith stopped him for Miami. So Mark Plunkett on to punt. And Pee Wee Smith will be back deep for Miami Hurricane with 11:32 left to go in this one. Plunkett with the wind at his back gets off a high one. Smith takes it at his 35, and look out. Wow, was he hit hard, and immediately. Brian Reeves got him right now. We're going to step aside with 11:19 left to go in the ball game. Again, our score, Miami 24, Missouri 7. We'll be right back. 11:19 left to go in the ball game, leading 24-7. Erickson again wants to throw the football. He does. It was completed. Dale Dawkins makes the catch. Dawkins with the pickup of about 6 on the play. Harry Cullen with the stop for the Tigers up to the 40-yard line. Second down, we'll call it a short 5 yards to go for the Hurricane. The give is to Conley. Conley looking for blockers. It's almost up to midfield. He really followed his wall well up to the 48-yard line. Darren McDonald and Otis Smith finally got him there, but not after a first down for Miami.
And as long as the Missouri defense has been on the field this afternoon, you'd expect them to start to get a little bit fatigued. They've had to rush the passer. They've had to play the run. They've been spread all over the field. Got to get tired sooner or later.
Erickson back to throw across the middle. There he's got his intended receiver, Dale Dawkins, a race for the end zone. Dawkins skirting the sideline, and he goes out of bounds. They rule him out at the 9. Dawkins doing a good job tight-roping the sideline, but not good enough. Leon Fisher forced him out at the 9.
First and 10, best opportunity to play action. They line Dawkins up close to the right side, and Erickson just up and over, because clearly the Tigers were fooled. All these Miami receivers have great speed. All 3 starting receivers have already had 100-yard days receiving in the first 2 games. So there's really nobody you can double. There's nobody you can say, well, if we take this guy away, we can really shut down the Miami offense. They've got so many weapons that they can utilize. It just makes it virtually impossible for a defense to come up with big play after big play.
So now first and goal from the 9 for the Hurricane. Dawkins with 4.6 speed, Dave. Now they're going to rule it out at the 4-yard line. Originally they said the 9, now down to the 4. First and goal from the 4. Conley the lone back. Hill and Carroll come wide to the left. Wide to the right is Doyle Aaron. Conley stopped short of the goal line. Stopped inside by Ted LePage. Forced out at the 2-yard line. It'll be second and goal from the 2. Conley now with 60 yards rushing on 10 carries. Conley, a multifaceted back in the Miami attack. The only one back there. He catches a lot and he runs a lot. Second and goal from the 2 for Miami. Conley tried to get up over the top, but coming in from the weak side, Kevin White was there along with Mike Ringenberg. Ringenberg, the guy that was hurt earlier, he's back in there, and he made a fine defensive play to stop that one really before Conley could take off.
Ringenberg makes a nice play, but the key to that defensive effort is to hold your ground defensively up front. They didn't allow the Miami offensive line to create any room for Conley to go up and over.
Now Missouri comes in with the extra defensive back, expecting Miami to throw here on third and goal from the 2. Erickson again to Conley. Conley has lots of room. He goes in untouched. Touchdown, Miami.
Touchdown, Miami. Leonard Conley.
The Hurricanes set everything up to the right side and then ran left.
You can see the fake audible as Erickson talking to the wide receivers. And Conley, as you mentioned, with a couple of offensive linemen on the counter tray move, the isolation. That's what the one-back system can do. You can throw a lot, especially with 3 wide receivers, but you also can run to the weak side where that tight end lines up.
Huerta on for the extra point. This has been automatic for him in his career. That is up, and it is good. And with 9:28 left to go in the ball game, it's Miami 31, Missouri 7. Boy, the Hurricanes strike so fast, and they strike so efficiently. The long pass play down to Dale Dawkins that went down to the 4-yard line. Then a few plays later, Conley goes in untouched.
I know some coaches don't like it, especially those who have to play Miami, but they play the same way whether they're behind or ahead. They're an aggressive team. They're going to come at you from many directions. You can see Conley again. A lot of people in front. And a good job sealing off the inside by Rod Holder, who's had a very good game up front for the Hurricane. But this is a team that, even when they get you down, they continue to throw the football and do the things that they do right from the start.
Again, Dave, coming up on the Prime Network Pac-10 Game of the Week, Arizona will host Washington. It comes your way live at 7:30 Central. It's this Saturday on the Prime Network. Huerta will kick off into the wind. Back deep for Missouri, Ronell Cahill and Sean Moore. Cahill with it, back at his 12-yard line, trying to find some room inside to the 28-yard line. That's where Missouri will start. 6 plays, 65 yards, under 2 minutes. Again, Conley with a 2-yard touchdown run. Big play. Again, the long pass from Craig Erickson to Dale Dawkins down to the 4. Ken Kiefer comes in. He's had a pretty good afternoon today for the Tigers, with the exception of some of those interceptions. He's found his receivers well. One of those interceptions, not his fault. It was a tipped ball. But I think Kiefer's got to be pretty happy with his effort against maybe the top defense in the country. That one picked off. Well, just as I say all those glowing things about him, Michael Barrow picks it off. And now this could get ugly.
That's the new dance step. Defense has their dance step. Offense has theirs. Wide receiver has theirs. The only guys that don't dance on this team, the offensive linemen. They probably could dance as well. Kiefer with just a poor throw, and again, he's made that throw a couple of times. The linebacker's dropping so deep to take away the deep bend in that's just impossible to get that football in there. You couldn't walk down the field and hand it, in that case, to Damon Maves.
So now Miami coming in, looking to tack on a few more to their lead of 31-7.
And we'll see what I'm talking about, I think, with respect to Miami and how they still continue to try to do what they do best, and that's score.
Craig Erickson takes a timeout, seeing something he didn't like. That's the 5th interception for Ken Kiefer. Prime Network brings you exclusive coverage of Big 8 football this fall. Some of the games: Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Colorado. That'll be a good one out there in Boulder. Nebraska versus Oklahoma State, just to name a few. Catch all the action of Big 8 football this fall right here on Prime Network.
I suspect you'll be bringing your golf clubs to the Denver area for the Missouri-Colorado
I'm looking forward to hitting some of those long drives in that thin air.
They do take off a bit.
I can't wait. Also can't wait to see this Missouri Tiger team take on the Colorado Buffalo squad. As you see passing yards today, well, we told you at the outset this was going to be an aerial attack, and it certainly has been that. Missouri, though, with more passing yards than Miami here this afternoon. Erickson, the give to Crowell. Nice cut inside. Down to the 30. Pickup of 9. Ted LePage got him.
Well, Ringenberg had a chance. You'll see just a terrific cut by Johnson. I mean, that's just stopping almost as quickly as you had to start up the play. Interchangeable parts for Miami offensively.
2nd and 1. Play action pass. Erickson wants it all. He's got Chudzinski. Chudzinski bounces off. Touchdown. Chudzinski just too big for Adrian Jones and Leon Fisher, and he gets his first touchdown of the year. Rob Chudzinski, a junior tight end out of Toledo, Ohio. And that'll send people scurrying for the exits here in Columbia.
Key to this play, Chudzinski getting to the right place at the right time, and a good job by Erickson of looking off the zone coverage and coming back to that seam up the right side right on time. That's a pass that can't be late. It certainly wasn't that time.
Erickson benefits too with the wind calming down here in Columbia. Huerta on for the extra point. It's right down the middle. And there's a timeout here on the field with our score with 8:34 left to go. Miami 38, Missouri 7. Now it looks like a walk in the park for the Hurricane.
He looked to the left first. That, of course, froze the Missouri defense. In this case, Leon Fisher, the weak safety, can't get back over to the tight end, who simply releases outside 3 or 4 yards, turns straight up the field, stays right in that seam, and you force that weak safety to make a decision one way or the other with 2 guys coming to the field. That's why Erickson's look to the left so vitally important.
Chudzinski, 6'4", 224. He's a load to bring down, and they couldn't. So Huerta will kick off to the Tigers again. Skip Leach now back there, along with Ronell Cahill. Tigers still trying to dance. Huerta with a low knuckleball kick. Skip Leach has at his own 13. Leach up to the 29-yard line. Tigers come on offense again. Let's take a look. Boy, how quickly they score. Almost a yard per second. 2 plays, 39 yards. 30-yard pass. Chudzinski scores. And it's turning into a rout for Miami, 38-7. Give Missouri a lot of credit, though. They held Miami very toughly all afternoon. After a while, though, Dave, as I know you're aware, a team like this tends to wear down a lesser opponent after a while. Kiefer's pass intended to Lithicum. He can't hang on.
You know, the ironic thing about it with Missouri scoring in the first quarter, that long touchdown throw to Lindsey Collins, no team has scored this year on the Hurricanes after the first quarter. Believe it or not, that's a testimony, of course, to their defense. They didn't play great offensive powers in California in the second game of the season. And their first contest coming against Wisconsin, vice versa, I should say. But this team just gets stronger as time goes on.
Keeper on the give to Smiley Elmore. Elmore with his first carry of the day gets about 4 or 5 on the play. Elmore, a guy that transferred to the University of Missouri after Wichita State dropped their football program.
You may say now, why are they running the football? But hopelessly out of the game, Bob Stoll now can utilize the last 8 minutes or so to work on the running game. They have not been able to get that thing going the first 3 games, including this contest. Why not give the offensive lineman a chance to at least make the correct assignments and do the right things in the last 6 or 7 minutes?
3rd and 5 from the 35. Keeper back to pass. He's got Elmore. Elmore looking for the 40. Can't quite get there. Richard Newbill there to stop him. And Miami will get the ball back as Mark Plunkett comes back in to punt one more time. Bob Stoll knew this going in. He said, boy, Miami's defense is so tough. Normally it's 3 plays and a punt, 3 plays and a punt. And that's what it's been the last couple of times. kick from Plunkett. Pee Wee Smith fumbles the football. Let's see who gets it. It might be Missouri. Missouri is pointing their way. Let's see. They're still scrambling around for it under there.
Looks like they're looking for a lost key.
You can tell by the reaction, Missouri has it. That's the second time today that Pee Wee Smith has fumbled a football.
Well, Pee Wee's got to learn that when you put your hand up in the air, that means nobody can touch it. You'd like your return man to be aggressive, but you also like him to make wise decisions. That time he should have fair caught the football.
Michael Jones covers it for the Tigers. And a big break now for Missouri. They have it at the Miami 25. Keeper on the draw play to Smiley Elmore, trying to break outside. Elmore picks up 4 or 5 tough yards. Jesse Armstead and Hurley Brown to make the stop for the Hurricane.
Elmore's a little quicker than some of the other Tiger backs. Hasn't had that many opportunities to run the football.
Smiley Elmore's father played at the University of Tulsa. As I mentioned, he went to Wichita State, and when the Shockers dropped their football program, he came here to Missouri. Said he always had dreamt of playing in the Big 8 Conference. Second down and 6 from the 21. Keeper on the blitz. Pass complete. Skip Leach up the middle, looking for some room inside the 10 to the 7. Nice run after the catch by Skip Leach.
That play again, you'll see the Miami defense on the blitz. Leach reads it, ducks back inside. Keeper picks him up. Little Booker's quick once he catches the football, which a lot of people miss. And Skip Leach, as we said, a former quarterback in the option. Now, of course, forced to switch to wide receivers. Made a couple of nice catches.
First and goal from the 7. Here they come on the blitz again. Look out. Michael Barrow came flying through. Jones got the ball, but I'm sure he didn't want it after he saw Barrow's look on his face. A loss of 6 or 7 on the play, back to the 12.
Barrow couldn't decide whether to tackle Kiefer or Stowers. He got there almost before Kiefer handed the football away. Got a lot of athletes in this defense. You
got to remember, Barrow is the backup to their first string middle linebacker, Bernard Clark. Kiefer looking into the end zone. Oh! Pass intended for Damon Mays, but he couldn't quite get back to it.
I tell you, he slipped down. Had he been able to keep his feet, he might have been able to adjust to the throw and make the catch.
Maybe he slipped on his nickname over there, D-Ice.
You know, everybody's got nicknames in college.
Yeah. Did you have a nickname? You know,
I don't think I did. It's been so many years I've been out of school, I don't remember.
Not to your face, anyway. Third and goal from the 12.
You can think of one.
Look out from behind. Mark was coming. Pass intended over to Jim White. He couldn't hang on, and that'll bring up 4th and goal. Now do you kick the field goal here and try to get 3 more? Go for it.
Well, he's going to kick. The crowd doesn't like the decision, but to tell you the truth, 38-10 or 38-14, there's not a lot of difference. And I guess Bob Stoll just figures his field goal kicker needs a little work. He, by the way, is new. Jackie was hurt last week against Indiana.
Jackie hurt on a field goal attempt. He's out for the season with a knee injury. This will be Baker's first attempt at a field goal at Missouri. A walk-on from Kansas City Rockhurst. It's no good. He pulled it off to the left. Field goal attempt from the 30-yard line. No good. We're going to step aside with 5:11 left to go in this one. It's Miami 38, Missouri 7. Taking the place of Craig Erickson. Toretta so far this year, 7 of 12. This time the handoff to Crowell. He tries to get outside. A pickup of about 3 or 4 on the play up to the 24. Charles Murphy stops him. The run to Alex Johnson, not Crowell. Johnson on the carry. A pickup of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Gino's brother, Jeff, was a backup to Vinny Testaverde, so he has some bloodlines at Miami. Threat on the draw play to Johnson. Goes across the 30, good enough for a first down, up to the 31. Kevin White makes the stop there.
And one has to look ahead to what very well may be the showdown for the national championship. November 25th in the Orange Bowl. Miami and Notre Dame, I think, an excellent chance that both teams could be undefeated on the 25th of November. That looks to be a great football game.
A couple of tough games for Miami will be at Florida State and at Pittsburgh on their schedule, but that Notre Dame game certainly the one they're keying on. Pass complete to Lamar Thomas across midfield all the way down to the Missouri 43-yard line. There may be some here saying, why are they throwing the football up 38-7? That's just their offense.
I think it's a fair question, at least here in Columbia today. As I said, interchangeable parts. In this case, Lamar Thomas, freshman receiver, catching a nice pass from a freshman quarterback.
So Miami working with some youngsters out there, trying to get them some game action. Conley back in the contest. He runs hard down to the 33 or 34-yard line. Not enough for the first down. It'll be a couple of yards shy. It'll be 2nd and 8. You were talking about Notre Dame, Dave, and even Dennis Erickson admits, hey, yeah, it's hard for me not to think ahead of that game on the 25th of November against the Fighting Irish. That one will be played this year in the Orange Bowl.
Looks like it should be a very good football game. You talk about the freshmen being utilized here today. Back in '87, when Miami won the national championship, they had 9 freshmen that lettered that year.
2 national championships this decade for the Hurricane.
So you want to make sure you give your youngsters a lot of playing time whenever you can.
There's a flag on the play. On the run is Stephen McGuire. He goes outside, stays inbounds. They're going to stop the clock, though, to check the flag.
How many teams would have the luxury in their national championship year of lettering 9 freshmen? And you letter, of course, when you play over 100 plays.
Holding the call against Miami.
Speaks to the depth of this program.
Leonard Conley now over 100 yards today.
Of course, they've got some fertile grounds to recruit in, even if they stay in their home state only. In Florida, how many great high school players come out of the state of Florida?
2/3 of the players on the Miami team do come from that state. It's 2nd and 12 now after the penalty, the holding call against the Hurricane. Again, Gino Torretta in at quarterback. They're going to rule Stephen McGuire down. His knee touched the turf, so they'll whistle the play there. Looks like a loss of a couple on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 14. Clock rolling with 2:35 left to go in this one. Again next week, we'll be in Lawrence. The Oklahoma Sooners taking on the Kansas Jayhawks, a team that's been one of the surprise teams this year in the Big 8 Conference. Kelly Donahoe, their quarterback's having an outstanding year for the Jayhawks. 3rd and 14. Torretta back to pass, feeling some pressure, and now he's sacked. Well, that'll teach you to pass. That's what the Tigers say anyway. Kevin White with a sack. And Miami will be forced to punt it away. Tim Kalal will do the honors.
You know, when people see this score around the country tomorrow, they're going to say, well, typical Miami win. They went in and blew out Missouri, but certainly defensively the Hurricanes have played well. But let's give credit to the Missouri defense for hanging in the way they did, but being on the field a great deal, especially here in the second half. And I think really playing a pretty good brand of football.
That one almost blocked. Kalal goes off the side of his foot. It doesn't take a Missouri bounce as much as it did the first time, and this time, or a Miami bounce, this time a Missouri player gets it, and then he is surrounded by a host of Miami players. Stacy Elliott was the guy that caught the football. He didn't want to see that bouncing towards his own end zone, so he put his mitts around it.
Again, punters, when they feel pressure, have a tendency to shorten up that leg. That was partially blocked, though, as the Tigers coming after the punt.
What do you think? Good move there to pick it up. He looked like he had a free shot at it.
You know, linebackers, any chance they get to touch it, they want to touch it. I mean, how many times does a linebacker get a chance to run with the ball? To be serious, no, probably not a good move. Although if you can catch it cleanly, you do want to do so it doesn't bounce another 25 yards towards your goal line.
And we'll remind you, next week we'll be in Lawrence, KU taking on OU. Comes your way Saturday night, 12:30 Central, then again Sunday morning at 10 o'clock Central, right here on Prime Network.
It's been a pretty good basketball matchup the last few years.
I'll say.
OU and KU.
Like the Hurricanes are going to go home happy.
Maybe used to the breezy weather, but not the chill here in Columbia.
I'll have to say I'm not either. I don't think any of us are. Yesterday it was around 75 to 80 degrees around these parts, and a real cold snap went through. So that's all a result of Hurricane Hugo, believe it or not, way over here in the Midwest. Kiefer across the middle. Skip Leach, the catch across midfield down to the 35-yard line. Now Missouri in their hurry-up offense. This is good practice here for the Tigers. And now Missouri decides to use one of their timeouts. A lot of people would wonder why in this particular instance, down 38-7, but good practice for Bob Stoll's crew.
Oh, absolutely. You want to get up and get as many plays as you possibly can. Again, pretty good protection. Keeper steps up. Skip Leach, as small as he is, 5'9", about 160 pounds, kind of gets lost in the wash once he breaks inside.
Kiefer with 295 yards passing, 23 of 41, but 5 interceptions and that 1 touchdown pass to Lindsey Collins. Playing out the final moments of this one between Miami and Missouri. Miami came into this contest heavily favored, and you're right, Dave, you were talking about that score, and a lot of people around the nation will say, yeah, it's a typical one, but I guarantee you Miami knew they were in a fight here this afternoon. First and 10 from the 35 of the Hurricane. Keeper with time again across the middle. Skip Leach has been everywhere. That one down for a gain of another 6 down to the 29-yard line. Darren Smith got him there. And now a flag, a little extracurricular activity perhaps by the Hurricane.
Well, they're going to call Jesse Armstead, I believe, for personal foul, and if that's the case, this is a call that really doesn't need to be made. A lot of pushing and shoving after the play, everybody running into everybody, and I think this is a reputation call if nothing else. Can't make silly fouls. And a good job by Leach, who's become one of our favorites, adjusting to the football. Now get down, Skip, before everybody gets there. You can see Jesse Armstead getting pushed. Missouri player pushing. A lot of shoving. That's not a foul. I mean, I don't like anybody taking a whack at somebody after the whistle's been blown, but in that case, just a lot of frustration pushes and on both sides of the football.
Well, it moves the chains and moves the ball down to the 14-yard line with 1:06 left to go. Missouri still with 2 timeouts left. I'm sure they'd love to stick one in the end zone here and make the score even more respectable. Certainly scoring 14 points on Miami would really be a lot to crow about. Here comes the blitz. They try to dish it off out there to Stowers, and now it looks like a flag. Cortez Kennedy interfered with Tommy Stowers as he tried to get loose on the screen play.
And they've run this play 3 or 4 times. You'll see Cortez Kennedy, number 96, just grab Tommy Stowers by the back of the jersey.
No question about that.
Although I'll tell you, if the player is grabbed, I believe, behind the line of scrimmage, I'm not sure you can have pass interference. You might have defensive holding, which I think that will probably be the call.
Holding behind the line of scrimmage from the defense. 10 yards.
So it's first and goal, ball on the 7-yard line now with 48 seconds remaining.
After the penalty, Missouri, first and goal.
Missouri with 2 timeouts and 4 cracks at it. Backs are split. Kiefer on the delayed give to Michael Jones. Darren Smith snuffed that one out. And a loss of 7 or 8 on the play, back to the 13. Timeout taken by the Tigers.
Probably going to have to throw the ball down here because Miami is going to blitz both inside guys as they did. The outside linebackers are coming, and you just don't have enough bodies to pick up the blitz, especially on a running play. Going to have to put it in the air and try to get somebody loose in the end zone.
Miami's had 114 yards in penalties this game. Bob Stoll talking things over, and now Kent Kiefer's put on the headset talking to the coaches upstairs. It'll be second and goal at the 13. Don't forget, next week, KU and OU in Lawrence. We'll have that one for you here on Prime Network. Irv Brown will be working with me on that contest. Dave Logan steps away from these microphones for 1 week, and you'll be back with us as Missouri travels to Colorado 2 weeks from now. I want to thank our producer-director for today, Mike Diamond. Once again, thank our spotter, Brian Nooner, and our statistician, Tex Little. Great crew here in Columbia. Our thanks to them. Great camera work. Terrific audio here as we bring you the sights and sounds from Columbia. Kiefer. Pass intended over there to Bruton. Broken up and out of bounds. Darren Smith again there defensively. Smith's been all over. All right, third and goal. 32 seconds to go. Ball at the 13-yard line.
Got to get somebody in the end zone. That time Miami defensively playing man-to-man. You'll probably see the Hurricane in a similar defense. And you just have to hope somebody can beat a defensive player one-on-one.
Lindsey Collins comes wide to the right, along with Ronell Cahill.
Collins to the corner.
In a packed eye. That pass deflected and intercepted. Miami has it, but Kiefer was really racked as he let go of the football. That will go down as the 6th interception of the day. Hurley Brown makes the interception, and Miami snuffs the Tiger offensive threat.
They were trying to get Ronell Cahill to the flag and actually had a chance had Kiefer had the opportunity to throw the ball. But again, no one picks up the inside blitz, and Kiefer hit right as he throws the football.
So if Miami is smart, they'll just fall on the football here and end things. We'll see what they do. Gino Torretta brings them up to the line of scrimmage, and they're going to run a play. Well, that's just the same thing. Conley picks up several more, adding on to his 100-yard rushing day. Ringenberg makes the stop, and the clock is moving. Missouri doesn't want to stop it, and that should do it. Miami will go to 3-0 on the year. The Tigers will see their mark fall to 1-2 as they head off to Arizona State in Tempe next week. Miami Hurricane will take on the Michigan State Spartans in East Lansing. Conley with 105 yards rushing. And our final score here as Bob Stoll comes over to congratulate Dennis Erickson. Miami 38, Missouri 7. We'll be back in just a moment.